Vai na via safada relaxando, vai na pica safada sem vergonha. Vai sentando na pica doidão de maconha. Presta atenção que o bagulho é doidão. Trava essa puta quicando safada. Senta malvada, quica malvada. Trava na ponta da pica e não para. Senta malvada, quica malvada. Trava na ponta da pica e não para. Senta malvada, quica malvada. Trava na ponta da pica e não para. Ai, senta no meu palhaço, vai senta no palhação. Vai, senta no meu palhaço, vai senta no palhação.
Naquele pique, só couro brabo. Me chamam de proibido porque eu vicio rápido. Combinação perfeita, sexo, cerveja e maconha. A novinha viciou, tá tudo curtindo a onda. Naquele pique, só couro brabo. Me chamam de proibido porque eu vicio rápido. Combinação perfeita, sexo, cerveja e maconha. A novinha viciou, tá tudo curtindo a onda.
Só socadinha, você tá dando vinho. Só socadinha, você tá dando. Só socadinha, você tá dando vinho. Só socadinha, você tá dando. Só socadinha, você tá dando vinho. Só socadinha, você tá dando.
Esse é o DJ Holanda, tá lançando a nova moda.
É o DJ Holanda, imã de piranha.
Welcome. That's a 20-year time skip of an intro. That's filmed over the course of like a year and a half. Don't insult me like that, Big Soda. You're supposed to be on my side. How's everyone doing today? We're hopefully joined, inshallah, by John Zherka himself, the real John Zherka, to give his argument for God, because I tried to do it after like a case of White Claws and I couldn't really understand his debate. I'm hoping that I'll do better now, although I still feel like it's going to be quite complicated. John himself said that he would be joining, so we'll see if he holds true to his commitment. But either way, we'll be going through the debate. We only got a little into it before, and we were trying to understand it. It seems a little convoluted, but again, it might be less convoluted than I'm thinking. And hopefully, if Zherka can explain it, it will all make sense. Good to see you, everybody. Also, bow. We already have a dono from Big Soda. Played the short I sent you on Discord. Okay, I have it loaded up. It looks like an Always Sunny clip, so don't threaten me with a good time. Good to see you, Big Soda. Good to see you, Emmett. Good to see you, Rage Page. And yes, if anyone wants to join and react alongside with me, you can join by clicking the link that's pinned at the top of the chat. You can also join by clicking the link in the description, link to the same place. I am drinking some soju today. You can't really see the label, but it is melon flavored. I don't know why I bought it, because it's obviously like a fucking honeydew, and no one likes honeydew, myself included. So it doesn't taste as good as the other soju, but it is what it is. Two perspicacious individuals have already found out how to click the link. Good to see you, Emmett. Good to see you, Big Soda. Get on up here. You don't have to be shy. Come on up. There you go. How's it going, you guys?
A little quick there. Reveal my name.
So I'm not gonna stay long,
it is hidden.
Especially with
the Emmett Anchor baby. You get along so well with John Zherka, Emmett. You guys historically have a great relationship, and you always talk
we love each
normally.
Other.
Of course, it's alcoholic. It's soju.
Yeah, we tickle each other.
Whoa! Pause. That's where's the
you guys
where's
don't know the clip? You really don't know the clip. You don't know the fucking where that comes from.
There we go. Took a long time to pull it out, but pretend I did it really fast.
You really don't know where that comes from, so I'm gonna send it to you.
You pickle each other.
You can play it. Yes, it's a
I don't know if it's you and Zherka pickling
Andrew
each other.
Wilson,
I think I'll watch it on my own time. I mean, but I don't know if I can.
It's the only time I can find Jordan Peterson and Andrew Wilson having an interaction. That's where it comes from.
Sorry, I'm just saying something. Start back to rage in the comments.
I'll put it on the back chat if you wanna watch it. So the
falls into the crucible. Is this real?
Of course,
I've never
real.
seen this.
What are you?
Okay. Okay, well, watch Big Soda's thing first because that was super chatted in, and
Take a
gotta
couple
respect
seconds.
the hustle. Yeah, Big Soda's is quick. It's just a short.
The hassle.
Emmett will love this one.
Oh,
It's 3 minutes.
Trying
It's
to
not that
load
long.
up the wrong thing. Hold up, there we go. Fuck, Always Sunny is always great. Okay, holy shit,
It's amazing.
So good. Such a good show.
You're not going to get us to not believe in evolution.
And why is that?
Because the smartest scientists in the entire world all agree that it's real.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because, Mr. Reynolds, science is a liar sometimes.
Oh boy.
Aristotle, thought to be the smartest man on the planet. He believed that the Earth was the center of the universe, and everybody believed him because he was so smart. Until another smartest guy came around, Galileo, and he disproved that theory, making Aristotle and everybody else on Earth look like a bitch. Galileo then thought comets were an optical illusion, and there's no way that the moon could cause the ocean's tides. Everybody believed that because he was so smart. He was also wrong, making him and everyone else on Earth look like a bitch again. Best of all, Sir Isaac Newton gets born and blows everybody's nips off with his big brains. Of course, he also thought he could turn metal into gold and died eating mercury, making him yet another stupid bitch. Are you seeing a pattern?
No.
Mr. Reynolds, these were all the smartest scientists on the planet. Only problem is they kept being wrong. Sometimes.
This is insane, you fool.
I'm a fool because I have more faith in the saints that wrote the Bible?
Yeah, because you just read the words of a bunch of guys that you never met, and you just take it on faith that everything they wrote was true.
And what makes you think what your scientists are writing is any more truer than my saints?
Because there are volumes of proven data, numbers, figures. There are fossil records.
Oh, fossil records. I didn't even think about the fossil records. I guess I'll concede. Oh, wait, one more thing before I do, Mr. Reynolds. Have you seen these fossil records?
Have I? Huh?
Have you poured through the data yourself? The numbers, the figures?
Well, no. No.
Oh, interesting. So let me get this straight, Mr. Reynolds. You get your information from a book written by men you've never met, and you take their words as truth based on a willingness to believe, a desire to accept, a leap of, dare I say it, faith?
Come on. Look, I don't even know how I'm supposed to respond to that. Come on. That's a false equivalency.
Just answer the question, Mr. Reynolds.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I rest my case.
Oh, that got me. You're wasting our time.
Oh, such a good show.
That got me. Pull up
hey, Testy.
pull up what I sent you.
Okay, sorry, I'm just reading Testy's gay shit. The Christians watch this and think it's not making fun of them. It's great. Look, it's lampooning everybody, Testy. Get with the times. It's always sunny, okay?
Yeah, it doesn't trigger us. We can enjoy it and have a laugh.
Yeah.
But the
You need to learn to laugh at your atheism, Testy. That's the problem with you atheists, Especially the bad ones. Especially the bad ones.
The retarded ones.
It is normally, but if it's Jordan Peterson calling into the Crucible, it's something I've never seen.
Mr. Peterson, Mr. Peterson.
Hello.
Welcome to the show again. Oh, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Huge celebs such as yourself.
Well, first I have to apologize for producing.
This isn't
such
the real
creatures.
Peterson. You tricked me.
Apparently he's
I thought this
taking
was
my
real.
work a little too literally. I have a question. First
No,
of
this
all,
sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Etymology is just an aggregation of random bar napkins.
Man, why is
into a
PM
box.
Jung on this? That's crazy.
Paul, I have a question for you, and I mean it.
Or Young.
I
don't know.
Dr. P. I just visit with Netanyahu. Now, we tickled each other.
Sounds like Jim Bob.
Now, we tickled each other to the
Rage
point
Page is
where
saying
it
it's Jim
felt
Bob.
torturous. So my question to you, is it suffering or pleasure? And who's the real villain?
Man, Andrew looks so young here.
When it comes to Israel, I have no official opinion on whether or not anyone from that country is good or bad.
Let me restructure. Let me rephrase.
On anything and anything about that.
Let me rephrase the question. You and me, you finally meet
Hey,
me.
Keelan.
I sign your back. We tickle each other. At what point does tickling become torturous and not pleasing, become suffering? It's a serious question.
It's a good question, Doctor.
At what
Pretty good
point
impersonation.
I don't think
tickling
can ever
becomes
become
suffering?
suffering. If it's true tickling, it can never become suffering, Jordan. Come now.
That's not true.
No, Jordan, you need to listen, Jordan. You need to talk to your daughter about her relationship with Andrew Tate.
It depends what you
It
mean
is-
by daughter.
It's really causing issues.
I want to know when PF was
And if
hanging out with
Michaela
Andrew
has a
Wilson.
child
That's so
with
strange
Andrew
to me.
Tate- With
They
Andrew
still
Tate
hang out
blood and
sometimes.
Jordan Peterson blood.
Huh.
Here's one more question. I'll get out of here. I'll get out of your mind. If evolution is true, all beliefs necessarily are just the result of mechanistic functions. Now, when you ask, why ought I believe in Christianity or God? Now, asking the question is contradictory to the position of evolution, which necessarily puts beliefs as just mechanical results. It's like, I don't know how you get away from this, you know? It's like really difficult to deal with.
Voice cracks are pretty good.
It's like, how are you going to reconcile the two?
Jordan, we're going to send you back to Russia.
Again, avoiding
Go
the
detox
question.
in a coma for another 3 months again.
Avoiding the question. You let me deal with my methadone. It's benzo, bucko. Say it to my face.
I wish you the best of luck,
Answer the question.
Dr. Peterson.
Well, Dr. Peterson, I'm sorry, but Paul seems maybe a little stun-locked. He doesn't seem to want to engage with your questions.
Yes,
today.
hit me
I
with the flashbang.
apologize.
That's
I do
the problem.
apologize. I do apologize for that. I know you took time out of your very
We know
busy
you do,
schedule
Rage
cleaning
Page.
your
We
room
know
to come
you
to the
do.
Crucible today. So
Well, that's the problem with idolatry. It's like you look at me as like a statue, but the moment I move and face your direction, you start crying. I'm out of here.
all right,
Fuck
thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Peterson.
That was such a deep.
Thank you for that, Emmett.
You're welcome. That's where the tickle each other comes from.
It's
Anyway,
an olive jar, Testy? How dare you? It's an olive jar, which are notoriously hard to open compared to pickle jars, okay?
Yeah, yes.
I'm about to go. I have stuff to do. I just want to say hi to you.
Hi, Emmett.
Especially
And
now that
07s
fucking
to you
Kirk
and
is not
yours.
here to be abused by a Mexican he never met. Fucking retarded piece of shit.
Don't threaten him with a good time.
Anyway, yeah. So I just wanted to say, good to see you, Keelan. Good to see you, my boy. You know,
Papa.
the apple of my eye. So
Maybe
yeah.
this year.
Maybe this year. Maybe this year. It may be the case. Good to see
Emmett,
everybody. Have a
before
good
you
one.
go, what is the bad atheist talking about here?
I don't know.
Did you do a debate recently?
I think he's talking about the debate I did on Horseradish's channel about what is it called? The fucking debate. It was about polygamy. Polygamy should be legal.
Wait, was that recent? I thought you swore off horseradish when IJ was judging that time. Or did you go back
No,
on?
I just won't be part of it if he is a judge.
Oh, I
But
see.
I don't have
see.
any problem with horseradish. Why would I
Who
have a
did you
problem
debate?
with horseradish?
Ancom Psy? Was that it?
No, I debated
Oh.
not fuck, what's his name? Some other fucking DJ. They all look the same and they all sound the same and they are all the same. I just wanna come. That's what I hear every time they open their fucking mouths. Oh look,
Now I kind of want to react to that.
I don't understand what is going on right now in the world. It's just about I just wanna come.
Oh,
Fuck you.
right. I think I know. I've seen him.
Yeah, so they all, you know, it's like like the whatever his name is, T. Johnson. He sounds exactly the same. They all sound the same. Oh yes, I used to be this thing. Let me tell you about the Bible. Also, I just want to coom. But fuck you, dude. I don't give a shit.
Esty always does say that. He always talks about just wanting to coom.
Yeah,
It's going to be a real problem.
Let me give you all of my. You know, I the other day I left my house without my wallet, but now I have my wallet and all my credentials. It says Christian here, former Christian. I have authority as a former Christian to tell you about the Bible and shit. Like, okay.
Esty also says that all the time as well. You're really nailing him.
Yeah, completely.
I'll have to check out this polyamory debate though that you did.
Oh god, it's okay. It was an okay debate. He no, it's fun. The funniest part was he wanted to at some point create a ethics debate, and I shut the ethics debate in like 5 seconds. He was like, "Yeah, my preference versus your preference," and then we could just go and move into consequentialism. Not give a shit about anything else.
I will say it's hard. It's hard to win a debate on horses as a conservative. But I will also say I've never lost a debate on Horseradish's channel. Okay, so a bit of a skill issue. Okay.
Well, the thing
maybe that means you're not conservative.
Yeah, you go. You
That's
go
the
over
other
there.
alternative.
You tell people that if they coom is fine. Cooming is okay.
I've always taken conservative positions in my debates.
You're always a little bit of a coomer yourself, so
You,
it's fine.
you hear Confluence in the background chirping.
The Blue Jays. The other thing is I have a way harsher personality than you do, so it's more likely that people enjoy you. It's way less likely that people enjoy me, especially in lefty spaces. When I
He's like the white Barack Obama.
And I go in, I just call them, retards and shit. But it's it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, I will go on and let you have a good time. Hope you have a very good stream as always. Have a good one.
Thank you, Emmett. God bless you.
Papa.
Brandon, who am I? Whoa, that's a weird angle when it drops to 3. Brandon, who am I sweeping for? Who am I sweeping for? Professional sweeper, if you think about it? How? Who I've been sweeping? Also, how's it going, Keelan?
Yes, say that to his face.
Yeah, say it to my face, Brandon.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Tabernacle.
How's it going?
I'm looking for new books.
Have you heard this hit new book called The Quran? It's great. I know this guy, this atheist who reads it every day. Isn't that crazy?
At least one verse.
At least one. And he'll use a random number generator because he's also a little on the spectrum, but he also wants to be Muslim.
This is gonna hurt the Christians, I feel, but the last discussion we had on Islam has made me want to learn more about Islam.
Oh shit, that's the problem. This is like when we talked to Kirk about transness, and he just wants to know more about transness, and it's like, is this just a bad thing to entertain?
Like it hypes me up.
But I'm also looking for books on the patristics. I just don't know if I'll have the time or bandwidth to read that while I'm doing
They're very short, Keelan. I will say that. Like, I burned through all the patristics, like the major ones, in like a day or two. Like, it's an easy. They're very short. They're very short. So
it just takes a lot of compute for me to read stuff like that.
It does. I guess I'm just saying, in the same way that with First John, right? Like you read that within like, I don't know, 30 minutes or something, right? It's like, so it's a lot of epistles, but they're all like very like short epistles. Oh, Testy celebrating the troops. However long this buys is silence for the troops. All right. Well, how long does that buy? That's about a minute and maybe 10 seconds. Okay, silence for the troops.
Hold on, it's Memorial Day. You have to do the full 5.
No, because it's 2 minutes to mute me, 1 minute to mute everyone else. So then that's 5 divided by 4, which I can't really do the math.
You just don't really care about the troops, I see.
I didn't even know it was
He is Barack
Memorial
Obama,
Day.
the white Barack
Told me,
Obama.
To be honest, and Testy's a Canadian. I didn't even know it was Memorial Day. Okay. I've been in Canada too long, man. We already had our Memorial Day like a long time ago, so I wasn't even aware.
He's honoring all them World War II Canadian vets.
Yeah.
This is insane. Send them to war, and I'll forget to pay my respects.
Look, I don't think they need a day. I think every day should be Memorial Day. How about that? That's a brave stance. Not just we throw the veterans 1 or 2 days, okay? Terrible.
Yeah, they need a month.
All right, silence for the troops. Okay, I'm starting a timer. Not that I have to, because that seems disrespectful, but there's going to be a timer anyway, okay? Silence for the troops. Okay, it's not fair if I'm the only one cammed up. Okay, you can't make fun of me for laughing about the only one cammed up. Secure Johnson wants. We did lose like 20% of our viewers, but you know, those people don't love the troops. Okay, we're going for another minute, boys, and everyone should have to cam up. You should have to cam up to pay respects. Welcome, Kirk. We're about to do a minute and 15 seconds of silence for the troops, okay? In a serious way this time. I mean, the last one was serious too, but Keelan made me laugh, and that's not fair. And now he's saying he's naked. You shouldn't be dicks out for the troops, brother. That's not what they want. That's not what they'd want. All right, starting now. Big Soda camming up made that way more hard. That made it way more hard.
I think it was 1 minute and 15 seconds anyway.
That was, but there was
I was trying to do it quicker. I was trying to get on there quicker because I heard you say that, but I was far away from my phone.
I did before we started. Before we started on the Searkar stuff. I did have a question for you, Confluence.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
I think actually, wait, interruption. I think Zherka during the moment of silence. Oh wait, he says I was scheduled to work, I guess, but I should be off earlier. You know what?
Also, if it's not too much to ask, Big Soda, I actually don't want that. I don't like my likeness being shared that much.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, Kirk, don't be gay.
I just do my dad.
Yeah, but so Confluence, on the topic of religion and stuff, have you heard of the New Atheists by any chance?
Yes, I have, young Kirky boy.
And so you and so there's the New Atheists and Harrison, Hitchens, and Dawkins and Dennett, and I was curious. So, are you familiar at all with any sort of philosophy of mind concepts?
I don't know if they all have the exact same one. I'm assuming from the ones I know, like Dennett, I've never read Dennett. And I don't really like any of the four horsemen of the gay apocalypse or whatever they call themselves.
I know, but I'm not talking about Dale. I'm saying, but in general, are you familiar with philosophy of mind?
Yeah, and I think from what the ones I know, they all hold like a monism, where the consciousness is just an emergent property. I know. I like how Kirk will ask me the most like obscure things, and then he'll hit me with I'm just curious if you ever heard of the New Atheist. It's like, have you ever heard about bread before? This cool thing called bread.
I had someone at my synagogue that I used to go to say he didn't even know who Sam Harris was. And Sam Harris is one of the New Atheists.
And Sam Harris is pretty Jew-coded too, if you think about it. So
pretty retarded coded.
Well, so basically, the reason I bring it up is because I'm curious. Dennett argues that there's no such thing as he argues that the self is an emergent property where there's not a substantial.
I just said that.
Well, no, he says consciousness is an emergent, but what I'm saying is he says that there's also not only is consciousness emergent, but also the self is an emergent property in a sense that he says that
those follow. If consciousness is emergent, the self is emergent. I think those are like I don't think you can separate them.
No, can I explain why that's not necessarily true? Because basically, it could be the case that consciousness is emergent from the physical, but there's still an inner Cartesian theater where the gravity of consciousness exists. But then it denies that there's a gravity of consciousness, rather he believes the self is built up.
What does that mean? A gravity of if consciousness is an emergent property, then we get into like the Buddhist chariot argument really quickly. I don't see how we'd avoid that. Well, so what we call the self is emergent, and so we're hallucinating an experience, and the self is illusory, right?
Well, so Dennett argues kind of that the self is illusory in the sense that he believes that their cognition is distributed across different brain functions, and so there is no central Cartesian self, no Cartesian cogito, basically. And so what this means is that cognition is basically there's different drafts of phenomenal consciousness that compete to arise in phenomenal consciousness, and that the self is an emergent property of these different drafts that compete for your attention. So like I predict when I see a frog that I'm going to see green and remember and feel this emotion, etc. And so basically he argues that these different what are called qualia are distributed across the brain, and they're not in a central theater, and that because of this, when you have an experience, it's basically an experience of different things that are competing for your attention. I'm curious, what's your perspective on this idea? Not necessarily the physicalist component.
I think it's a terrible idea. First of all, well, by terrible I mean I disagree with it strongly. First of all, it's not a new idea. I mean, this idea has been around for 1,000+ years. There's nothing new with any of the New Atheists. But I fundamentally disagree with it. I guess, as you know, I'm either a panpsychist or, which is what I mainly am. But then the other part of me that's tempted by things would be like a substance dualist. I think it's
substance dualism is terrible.
I disagree, but I think it's going part way, but it's not going all the way. It's like, it's obviously true that like the brain is the contingency. I don't know if that's the right word, but that mental functions and like what we call the mind is like contingent on the brain. Like that's obviously true. And it's obviously true that there's different parts of the brain that control different things. There's parts associated with memory, parts associated with emotions, parts associated with different areas of qualia. right? That stuff is all true, but then I think it goes a step too far and just says, well, then there's nothing of the self. That's only true if you define the self as some type of confluence, if you will, and you must not of your emotions and intellect and memory and will and all this stuff. If that's what you mean by the self, then yes, the self is just an illusory property that you're gathering from a bunch of disparate parts and putting it together and calling that the self. But I don't think that's what the self is.
Well, so have you heard of the concept of pan-protopsychism? Because that's kind of what I'm sympathetic to, which is the idea that basically that qualia or conscious experience exists, but they only become evident when they're combined in a certain way. So, for example, it could be that a rock has consciousness, but the type of consciousness it has doesn't really manifest as phenomenal consciousness until you get a brain. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I don't know. I guess my confusion is I thought that's kind of all panpsychism, because obviously a rock isn't having a conscious experience in the same way that I am.
There are some panpsychists who do believe that a rock has phenomenal consciousness.
I don't know what that would really look like.
Well, I'm just saying that's a position some people hold. It's not a mainstream position, but it is a position. Most panpsychists are pan-protopsychists.
Okay.
But
sure.
But the way I see it is, I do believe in a soul, but I believe when you're talking about phenomenal consciousness, I don't necessarily know if there's a unified thing. And also part of it is, so didn't you say that you're a fan of some of the ideas of Noam Chomsky regarding like generative grammar?
I'm only a fan of, first of all, I hate Chomsky, to be clear. I only think that he's right about universal grammar. That's the only thing I think he's right about.
Well, so one of the things he points out, and you'd like to says, because I'm pretty sure you also said you're a fan of Jung's ideas. I'm also a fan of Jung's ideas, at least the collective unconscious and stuff. And I don't like Chomsky's political views, but in any event, so he argues that generative grammar is sort of similar to Jung, where you have the contents of the unconscious are inaccessible to phenomenal consciousness, if that makes sense. So you basically have these archetypes or these generative grammar things that are part of your subconscious, but you can never access them to your conscious mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. And I think that's true. And what I find compelling about, and I used to fight with linguistic students about this all the time, and I understand they probably know more about me, but the problem is with linguistic students is like, they'll always find the exception that like proves the rule and then think that they've destroyed like Chomsky, which like kind of bugs me, because it's like most of the languages do have some like type of like common grammar, right? Like that's why universal grammar comes about. There's some commonality a lot of them share, but you can of course find strange languages that like 100 people speak or whatever that like that will go against the rules. But I don't think that really goes against Chomsky's argument that like if you look at a bunch of disparate people group that had no linking either temporally or historically, you still see these common themes pop up. I think it doesn't mean you can't go against these universal things. In the same way you can go against archetypes. Like in most cultures, like the black and dark stuff is something that's like bad or evil, and then the light and white stuff is something that's good. But it's not all cultures. You can find something that goes against that, but that doesn't disprove the archetype. And so in the same way, I don't think, Chomsky's universal grammar is disproved by exceptions.
I don't necessarily agree with Chomsky's original generative grammar as it forms I had. Are you familiar at all with have you ever seen like Pinker talk about it? Because I think he has a better formulation of it that I don't completely agree with, but I think it's better than Chomsky's.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so he's so Steven Pinker is a Canadian linguist who
I know who he is.
Yeah, and the difference is that his formulation of it emphasizes that it's part of an evolutionary adaptation. So I think that's better because Chomsky he says it's an accident of evolution, whereas Pinker says it's because of evolution, like a teleological thing, because it helps us communicate in social groups, and I agree with that more.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't even know Chomsky thought it was an accident. But if that's true, that seems strange to me. I always just assumed there was a teleology behind it, because I don't know, it just seems to make sense. Anything you find where there seems to be like some benefit to having it that you see across multiple people groups, I would say is, I don't know, it seems weird to see it as an accident, especially something that's going to be complex like language. It feels like for that to accidentally happen in the brain seems like unintuitive, I guess. Like when if it's one building block, sure, that can happen by accident. But if you see something that is some aspect of evolution moving forward, like languages, and I think it's going to be something. We're not even talking about substance dualism anymore. Testy, we're like that's so like 7 minutes ago. Okay.
Yeah, but the thing with substance dualism is I think a better thing would be like property dualism, which is like kind of like Spinoza said, where there's God, and then mind and matter are both manifestations of God, but they're not separate substances.
Well, like I said, ultimately, I think like if I had to bet, if there's like a poly market on this, I bet my ETH probably on like like some type of monism, right? Either like panpsychism or something else. I think ultimately probably everything is one substance in that sense, but I'm also tempted by the substance dualism thing too, like from a more like normal like Christian point of view. Then I think that makes sense. Like a normal reading of the Bible or like proper systematic theology, I think you do probably get to a more like substance dualist position. But then if I'm thinking in a more like metaphorical way of these things or like kind of like extra biblical stuff, then I'm more tempted by like the monist stuff.
Well, also one of the arguments I think someone like William James would have against substance dualism is that consciousness. It seems like you're treating consciousness as a thing, as a substance, when it's really more like a process. It's like consciousness, awareness is always awareness of something in a processual way.
I disagree. It's a process. I think it is a substance that's used as a process. Like, I think there is just a bare thing that is consciousness. I fully believe, like, just experientially. I don't even know if I have like a good argument for it, but I don't think it's just a process, because you could be even in like states of meditation and stuff. And I know obviously this isn't compelling, but it definitely seems like it doesn't have to have an object of focus. It doesn't have to have a process. There is a bare level of just plain awareness. Like, even if you vacuum out everything else, there is just something called awareness, for lack of like a better word.
Yeah, but that I think the problem is that you're saying that's awareness as a substance, but it's more like the awareness is a process of being aware of something, which doesn't necessarily require an inner Cartesian like substance.
But you're saying like awareness of something, but it doesn't have to be an awareness of something. It could just be awareness, and so then it feels like we're taking out the process part of the process.
Well, how can you have awareness without awareness of something?
Well, I agree. It sounds like a paradox, but I think that a lot of people that have gone through like meditation or different things like that will talk about that exact thing, where you do reach a point, like they call it like dhyana or samadhi in like the Eastern tradition and stuff. And I think there is a place you can get to where it's just like pure awareness and there's really no object. And so then if there's no object and there's just a subject, I would say that's definitionally not a process. That definitionally would just be a substance.
Yeah,
and I understand. It sounds relational. I get that, but I have a good philosophical argument. It just doesn't feel relational if you like carve away everything to be aware of. I think there is a state of just pure awareness where you're not aware of anything. There's no object you could possibly point to, because if there is, you take that's the whole point of like this type of like Raja yoga or like certain forms of like Buddhist meditation, is you're stripping everything away. So as soon as an object arises that is relational, you strip that away. And if you just keep doing that, eventually you have nothing left. And as soon as there is something else, you would strip that away as well. So eventually you get to some type of like fucking, the nadir, I guess, of the aware experience. We have a super chat from once bread becomes toast, it can never again be bread. I feel like that's a pretty spiritual thing that Testy just said.
Yeah, but I mean, I would also think about it like this. So when it comes to language being evolutionary, so like it's kind of similar to like.
Wait, hold on, Kirky. We got someone new in the back. Give me one of these.
Can we
one of these? It's got to be one of these specifically. It has to be specifically what? Okay, there. Sorry, we don't know if people are real or not. Welcome.
Thanks.
How's it going?
Yeah.
What made you join Tangelo? I don't know how to say your name. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, you actually spelled it right.
Yeah, I was just gonna say though, when it comes to I'll just to wrap this up. There's two things. So first of all, when it comes to language being evolutionary, I do think Chomsky's wrong about this because of the fact that basically there is evolutionary success that your ancestors would have, that the gene pool would select for intersubjective communication. But the second thing is, if substance dualism was correct, why are the overwhelming majority of psychologists and neuroscientists rejecting of it?
I think that's a horrific argument. Like we've talked about this before, and I think you probably know this, right? Like psychology is so bogged
Neuroscience. What about
down.
neuroscience? What about neuroscience?
Neuroscience is the same way. The problem is it just doesn't even try to deal with those issues. It never goes further enough back to like question its axioms. Neuroscience, it doesn't need to, so I don't blame neuroscience. Psychology, it absolutely needs to, so I do blame it, because all the assumptions are baked in most schools on psychology. They've already decided what kind of their like meta framing is of everything, and they just like build off of that. So it's not like they're ever diving into those issues, right? Like psychology almost never is actually diving into those issues of like what is the foundations of all of this. Like the stuff we're talking about, it just doesn't happen, you know. So I would say the fact that most psychologists believe this means nothing. Neuroscience, again, they're kind of doing the empiricism thing, which is what they should be doing, but then it means I don't know if they really have like much to say about like the metaphysical side of the coin.
But I mean, you look at someone like David Chalmers or Dan Dennett, and these are like both cognitive scientists and philosophers.
Yeah, I mean, and Sam Harris is like a fucking neuroscience scientist too, but it's like I don't find much of like profit from him.
But hey, the difference is Harris isn't a philosopher.
We start the video.
I mean, anyone's a philosopher. We can. Well, I'm
let's
trying
say-
to
I
figure
don't
out
really
when
forget
John
Zherka.
Zherka is going to get, because I wanted to talk to Zherka so he could introduce us before, but he's not. He said he's at work and he's going to be off soon, but then I asked him what time and he hasn't said. So we could start without him. We could. I briefly want to hear from Otangelo. I can't remember if I'm saying that the same way as last time or an entirely new way, but I'm curious to know about you, new guy that joined.
Yeah, the correct spelling is Otangelo.
Otangelo. Okay, got that.
Yes. So I'm an evangelical Christian for over 40 years. So I believe the Bible is true.
Oh, based. Yeah, I like that. What's the ethnic origin of your name, Otangelo? What is that?
It comes from a special region in Campania in Italy, where I have some grandparents, and the patron of the city was called Ottone, and so they joined the name with Angelo, and it became Otangelo.
Okay, interesting. All right, well, we can start this. We might be a little lost. Okay, we are a little bit into the video from last time. We didn't get very far because Zherka was very much confusing me. So we can see if we can grok it, and then hopefully when Zherka does join, then he can hopefully unpack a bit more of this. Let's sip some limoncello with Otangelo.
Yeah, and I also want to respond. I do want to respond real quick before we start. Earlier, I think Let's Chief was saying, or not Let's Chief, Rage Page was saying, why can't Kirk talk about stuff normal? I think I do talk about normal stuff.
All the time. Oh, yeah. You just ask the most like normal questions that anyone would ask about. But Kirk, that's why I like talking to you. That's why I like talking to you, because you don't ask normal questions. Okay, it's a good thing. No, but that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. It's good to ask normal questions.
What's abnormal about my questions, though?
I don't know. Just like think of all the questions you ask, and then like think of the opposite of those, and those would be more like normal questions. That's the best I can give you. Does that help?
Well, not really, because like for example, do you think that questions asked today were?
What was that, Otangelo?
What is this channel about specifically? What is the, let's say, overarching topic? Like
my channel?
Yes.
Usually religion, politics, sometimes culture stuff. So yeah, I'm a Christian, but we have all types on here. We'll have, atheists, anyone can, it's kind of an open panel situation. So right now we have 2 Christians, 1 atheist, Islam inquirer, and 1 Noahide, which is a strange off branch of Judaism. So, and now an evangelical of 40 years from some sub-region of Italy. So,
But I am curious, Confluence. What do you think the questions asked today were abnormal?
You didn't give him any chance to respond to what Confluence said.
Oh, I have to go. My wife is calling me. I'll join another time. Thanks a lot. Will?
You're always welcome,
good to
buddy.
see you.
Good to see you.
Man, you scared him off,
Yeah, I was
Kirk.
gonna say, Kurt, damn.
He had to invite the fake. My wife is calling me.
But that's the life.
But
I thought Christians didn't lie.
well, I don't think he's lying. I think he's being honest.
We can joke and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
But I am curious, Confluence. Were my questions abnormal?
I don't want to make a whole thing about this.
Well, can you just answer with a yes or no?
The question you're asking now is abnormal. Does that help at all?
Well, no, but I'm talking about the questions earlier. Were they abnormal?
They're not. When I say abnormal, I don't mean in a bad way. They're not questions a lot of people will ask, but that's not a bad thing.
Okay, but they are abnormal in a sense.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, if the normal is defined as what normal people would ask, then they're not abnormal. But I'm not. I'm not normal, and this isn't a normal panel. And most people on StreamYard are probably not like asking normal questions to begin with. So nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, fine. Then I guess that makes sense.
I'm curious. Do I ask normal questions?
More normal than Kirk, that's for sure. But also not normal again.
It's your turn. It's your turn, Big Soda.
Yeah, Big Soda. Ask if you ask normal questions.
I ask retarded questions. So that would be
Big Soda
abnormal.
asks retarded. Yeah, so retardedly abnormal. Yeah. But not as abnormal as Frankie. Frankie probably asked the most abnormal, Kurt. So you're not even like the most abnormal. I mean, bro's talking about beehives, sandpaper, yaks. I mean, you name it. He's freaking gooning to it. So
but to be fair,
you're not on like the farthest. Yeah, you're a close second. You're like a couple of drinks away from being Frankie. Okay, but that's fine. We love Frankie. All right.
Right.
Here we go.
Very good stuff. No, it's okay. Actually, so this is.
So I think Zherka had finished his opening, if I recall, which I'm hoping the atheist will actually give us more insight, because if the atheist doesn't understand, he's going to ask good questions, and the back and forth might help fill in some gaps. I'm hoping.
We're always figuring things out. We're always improving, and it occurs to me that what I might start doing, because I just figured out I have the ability to make the clock start counting up, and so I might start taking people's excess time off of their cross examinations. But
and horseradish iterating in real time, crazy.
Of course I would be. Why wouldn't I be? That checks out. So, all right. Anyway, that said, you're good. 5 minutes is on the clock. Okay, this is your time for cross-examination and/or rebuttal. Use the time as you see fit. Control it. Go ahead and start when you're ready.
All right. Not quite my tempo here. I'm not going to lie. Not quite my tempo. Can you place your claim into a syllogism for me?
Okay, here we go. This is what I predicted. Based.
Yeah.
There are contingent concrete things, and their existence remains explanation demanding. Correct?
Okay, so there are contingent things.
And their existence remains explanation demanding. And we know that because contingent concrete things exist, that there is.
This is literally just tag with extra steps, you guys. Okay, I'm just especially saying that because I think Zherka might be watching. I'm trying to trigger him into joining. This is just tag. This is literally just rebranded tag. What a useless argument this is.
Necessary reason they exist. Some explanation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are all things contingent, or is there a necessary dependent?
Not all things are contingent, and the necessary thing here doesn't have to be something that is metaphysical. It could be something within the natural world itself, like I'm going to argue. So I'm not even using something outside of what we see in the natural world.
And now let's touch on the God.
You want me to continue it, right?
Definition of God again?
You want me to continue it, right?
Okay, go ahead.
So the second part would be, I think that for any particular contingent concrete thing, there's an explanation for the fact that those things exist. So that'd be the second part of it, just in a little more words. So we can agree to that, right?
No.
Is there a reason why?
Though. This is continue the syllogism. You can ask me on my cross-X.
Okay.
This is your cross-X.
Cross-X? Whoa. Kirk's ears perked up on that one, I'm sure.
Those relations do not explain why the contingent order itself is actual.
Okay. Why it is ordered. Now, back to what you're defining God. Can you say that definition of God again?
An ultimate, necessary, underived ground of contingent concrete reality.
Okay. So, if the universe itself met this criteria, you would call the universe
I don't know
God?
what you mean by that, Rich Page. I don't think I like that comment.
No, I wouldn't call the universe itself. If you're doing which version of naturalism are you going to be taking here? Are you doing brute force or are you doing?
Wait till my opening. Okay. Next question is, if this was a simulation and somebody in a lab coat made us, that wouldn't be a god.
Well, this is, but Brandon, okay, if you're, I don't know what time you work till, assuming you're working or probably at the gym, but when Zherka joins, you should also join to be Zherka's interpreter. Because I told Zherka to explain to me like I had drank a box of White Claws because I had, and he kept using $100 words and $100 syntax, and I could not understand it at all. Because to me, it does sound like the contingency argument, but Zherka said he thinks this is a new argument that he's never heard before. So, and the way he explains it, maybe he's right, maybe he's not. I'm not sure, but it seems like kind of just a normal contingency argument. Okay, Rage Page, I'm gonna delete that comment. That's let's not do that.
Right.
You sort of roboted there at the end. Can you say that again?
Yeah, say it one more time.
Me? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
If there's a scientist in a lab coat that ended up creating a simulation, and that's what we are, that wouldn't be God, right?
Well, I think the problem with this argument that Anarchy is bringing up is that I think what's his name, Searkar would argue that the lab coat guy is contingent.
The universe itself could.
You know, Keelan, you're on a panel. You can say it to my face, okay? You don't have to say it to the chat. You can just say it to my fucking face, okay?
Yeah, I mean, when your mod is making racist comments, I'm gonna think your community is racist too.
Didn't I delete the comment, Keelan? Didn't I just call her out before you said anything? Didn't I just do that?
I didn't say you. I said your community.
You said you said Confluence wondering. Well, okay, I guess that's fair. Okay, fine. Look, some people are prone. Okay, Rage, if you want to be unmodded, you can be unmodded. I don't know how to do that right now, but because I'm on StreamYard, but or you could just like not say crazy stuff. Okay, you can also not do that.
Always an option.
We could just cool it with the whole racism thing.
Technically be.
You guys used to like each other.
The universe itself exists necessarily, if that's what you're saying, as in like a necessary nature one.
No, I was wondering if it was a necessity, if that would be considered God to you under your definition. I'm just trying to figure out what we're defining as God.
No, because there need to be a necessary underived ground. So something would need to ground it.
Okay. Let's see. About God. I'm just taking notes based off everything you're saying, so we can continue this in the 30-minute opening.
No, you're fine.
So best. What are you defining best as? It sounds like a value judgment.
Correct. Best explanation would be something that we qualitatively try to answer you. So this would mean that what account explains more of the existential phenomenon with something called less unexplained remainder and fewer unsupported stipulations.
Mm-hmm. Another thing is that you mentioned dark matter and said that we infer dark matter and quantum particles. Is that all we do? Is just infer its existence, or is there any like mathematical?
Said he's at work right now unexpectedly, but he would be off early, but he hasn't told me what time, so I'm not sure what time he's showing up.
Like natural formulas and things like that.
Well, this is true, right? We don't directly have proof of dark matter or dark energy, as I understand it. We have infer its existence indirectly from phenomena we do observe.
Yeah, I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
Well, that's the thing, is that when people say, "Well, oh, you need evidence for a claim," well, if you can have evidence for a claim, but that's not literally just sense data that corresponds to something. People think evidence means, oh, you have sense data of something.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, this is the thing I think about the certain types of atheists that really bug me, because I feel like they're just confusing the planes when they'll ask for the kind of evidence that you're suggesting they ask for, which I often do. Because I just don't think it would be like asking for evidence of, as Zherka is saying, dark matter.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying with regards to the lab people being contingent. Is the whole premise of the contingency argument is that we infer God's existence indirectly from the fact that things like someone with a lab coat, we can imagine that being differently, so it's contingent, not necessary. Now you can disagree with that contingency necessity distinction, but if you acknowledge it, it's still a way to infer God's existence indirectly, if that makes sense.
I think it makes sense. The only thing is, I don't know if the analogy like fully, like, I think it's still an analogy, I guess, right? Which, I mean, I know like it's obviously meant to be, but it doesn't track on one for one. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an analogy. So I understand that, but because we're talking in different areas, I guess, is the issue, right? Like I would imagine an atheist would say, would call me out on that, right? With dark matter, you could still use empiricism to detect something that you think the best explanation is dark matter. But with like God and stuff, we're more using philosophy or experiential stuff. We're not, I mean, people try to, I guess, use like the empirics approach, but that seems to get like a lot more like convoluted. It always just comes down to like metaphysical claims at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard.
But that's
so I think it's a good
though.
analogy, but it's still like, it's still in a different.
But I don't agree.
How do you disagree?
Well, I disagree because of this. If you think that we observe evidence of causality because everything we perceive seems to follow some sort of causal law, then you can infer that there must be a first justification for these contingent causal laws.
Yeah, I don't know if that's empirics though.
I mean, it depends what you mean. If by empiricism you mean like you can reduce it to sense data, no. But if by empiricism you mean that you're inferring something from sense data, then yes.
I don't know. I feel like there's a bit of a jump there. Like by empirics, I mean, you can like, if we're, I don't know enough about dark matter to know, but I'm assuming they can run experiments and get to something that, again, I know nothing about dark matter, but I'm assuming they can run experiments and get to something that would be best explained by dark matter. And I'm not sure what experiment you'd be running to get to like the best explanation is God. Like it feels like you're going to be slipping into philosophy at some point.
Well,
and
it's
that,
philosophy,
to me, that makes sense because God is outside the universe, also like deeply within the universe as well. But you know what I mean? Like it's the metaphysical underpinnings of everything.
Well,
so
it's philosophy.
I think it's impossible to find it. Right. But with dark matter, I don't know, like maybe it edges into philosophy as well, but it's still something they're not just coming up with it from a philosophical groundwork. They're coming up with dark matter through empiricism without necessarily having to have any worldview in place, right?
Yeah, well,
I don't know if you could do that with God in the same way.
It's complicated because basically you're right that it is philosophical in the context of God, but what I'm saying is
this is O-face. Okay, I'm sorry.
When you look at philosophers like say Saint Thomas Aquinas, he argued you can use empirics to prove God by looking at the fact that we see things as contingent. We see these causal relations, and we infer a first cause from the things we observe.
I know. I don't think that's empirics in the same way as with dark matter.
Well, I don't disagree, but that's a semantic. I agree, but that's a semantic quibble over what we call that empirics. At the end of the day,
it's semantics, but it's not a quibble.
Well, it is a quibble because you're saying, well, it's not empirics because you can't reduce it to sense data, as I understand it.
No, yeah, but I'm not saying it's just like, oh, we're maybe like, I'm not agreeing that we're like just changing the definition of empirics and that really we're just quibbling over definitions. I do mean that we mean it's something entirely different when we're saying that we can like detect, atoms, even though we've never like seen an atom directly, right? But we can still detect them, or we've never seen an electron directly, but we can detect them. That is a qualitatively different thing than saying I'm using empirics in the way Aquinas did to posit God, right? Like we're talking, that's not just a quibble, that's not just redefining words, we're talking about entirely different things.
But the reason I think that's a quibble is because either way, whether you're talking about Aquinas or dark matter, you're still talking about making inference to some unobserved entity from observed phenomena. I'm not saying that it's the exact same way.
Yes,
because one doesn't go philosophical.
Yes. You're making an inference based on, so that's why I agree. Like, I don't disagree with what Zherka's analogy is. I don't disagree with it, but it is just it's just that, an analogy, right? And we are punting into like a different kind of realm of things. So I think it is a good analogy, but I'd be hesitant to, I guess, take it like a lot further than that.
Yeah,
I think
and that's
it
fine
is
with saying
like,
it's an analogy. That's fine with saying it's an analogy. I'm just saying that it's a good enough analogy for the purpose of the argument. Because what NOK I think is saying is that unless you can see something directly, there's not proof of it. That's what I think he's saying, but I could be misinterpreting him.
yeah. I think that's what the analogy is supposed to be pointing to, that there's some things we believe in that we can't directly observe. So I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Something that we don't have.
But also, I would point out just one more thing before we get back to the debate is there's also mathematical and logical truths, and you can't prove mathematics using empiricism because mathematics is based on logic, but we still understand mathematical proofs to be certain.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's why I hate the kind of like the atheist types that will just like ask for proof, and what they mean by proof is like point to God, do an experiment to find God, because they don't apply that to things like math, or they don't apply to things like logic. And there's like, not everything we know is based in empirics, but there's those types that they just always want that type of evidence, and they're just making like a massive category error. And it seems like no matter how many times you point it out, they don't really seem to get it. So I agree.
Yeah, like for example,
There's
earlier,
multiple ways that we come to knowing things.
Like for example, earlier I was debating someone in a Twitch chat, and he was being a real bugger, and he was saying that, oh well, religion is make believe, and science is the only way of knowing things. And if science is the only way of knowing things, then A, you don't get science off the ground because science is based on a scientific method, which is philosophical, and B, science uses math, which is quantitative, and math is also logical and not empirical. And so without the scientific method, which is philosophical, and without math, which is logical, which are both not strict empiricist disciplines, then the empirical scientific method wouldn't get off the ground.
Yeah, I agree. I think when people say that, I don't think they really thought about what they're saying enough, because I think it falls apart in multiple directions.
Something like dark energy or multi-worlds, multi-universe, correct?
All right, so I will end my cross X there.
Okay. Very cool. 5 minutes is on the clock then. You know what I didn't do? That's okay. So I'm kind of, nope, it's all right. 5 minutes is now going to be on the clock for UK. Go ahead and start up when you're ready.
The case my opposition has laid out sounds grand with vocabulary such as contingency, necessity, and metaphysical
unfortunately
grounding.
not.
It's amazing how convincing one can sound when borrowing logic processes from material science. But I want to look past the dense terminology and see the argumentation for what it is, kicking the can down the road to a new unknown variable. Let's focus on the language of the question. The prompt says God is the best explanation for why anything exists. Not that God doesn't exist, that there's no proof of God, that God is more or less likely exists, or that there is no reason to believe in God. I'm not claiming any of those things because it would be presumptuous. Speaking of which, let's go over 3 presumptions we will continue to hear tonight. First,
this is the atheist guy's opening. Still don't know his name.
That everything must have a reason, cause, or ground.
Good see lobster, by the way.
Commits the fallacy of composition.
And okay life.
The part of something has to be similar to the whole. Just because a part of a thing has a certain
What's his name?
characteristic doesn't mean that the whole.
And okay life.
It would be silly to say that
No.
each part of a computer
Never heard of
or
him.
car shares the same quality as the car or computer as a whole. Just because parts of the universe require contingency does not mean the whole of it does. Peter Van Inwagen points out that the PSR is self-defeating. If God's choice is to create the universe, if God's choice to create the universe,
If you look, you
has
can
a
see
specific
Testy
reason,
talking in
then
the
reason
chat.
was necessary, meaning our universe had to be created exactly this way. This eliminates all alternative possibilities, free will, and contingency. If the affirmative allows God to make a choice without a prior reason, they have broken their own rule and admit that the PSR is false. PSR also attempts to disprove the concept of spontaneous action. Yet, the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics has demonstrated that certain subatomic events occur fundamentally without specific cause. The exact moment a radioactive atom decays is completely random. Quantum fluctuation allows virtual particles to pop in.
This is actually not true, and I'll tell you why. So quantum what's it called? Quantum physics. When you're talking about the collapse of the wave function, the Copenhagen interpretation.
We don't have to get. I feel like we don't need to get into the quantum physics.
Well, just the only thing I just want to say was that in the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum physics, yes, the collapse is random, but it's still governed by a probability distribution known as the Born rule. where the probability of spin up, spin down is always going to
That's
be.
fine, Kirk. That's fine.
It sounds like we're getting into the quantum physics.
I understand you feel like you have to correct this, but this could be a lesson that you don't have to correct it. You
But
can
I'm just saying,
let it ride.
I'm saying, while it's true that the individual
you
collapse is
just
random,
ignore what I
it's
say.
governed by
Your mind is a train that's just going, and it's like I can stop you briefly, but as soon as I stop talking, you're gonna say that's fine, and you're gonna jump back into how
the
he
fact
was
is
wrong about
the quantum physics. You're right that the collapse is. He's right that the collapse is random, but it's governed by a frequency. It's governed by
even when you point it out, it doesn't change anything.
It's governed by a frequency distribution. Is what I'm saying. It's not completely random.
Oh, that's funny.
Metaphysical grounding.
doing
The
nature.
idea being that derivative and complex structures such as physical matter must be metaphysically founded in something more fundamental than themselves. Mesophysics claims that infinite linear change of dependent acts, such as infinite regress, is impossible. It also claims that there must be a first ground that is fundamental, self-explanatory, uncaused. This is flawed logic. Cantor developed set theory, which successfully formalized and proved that the logical consistency of actual infinities. Mathematics shows us that infinite sets can be structured, manipulated, and consistent without causing logical collapse.
Don't say that, Ancom. You're gonna start a whole thing.
More grounded than a first cause that exists outside of space, time, matter, but somehow interacts with them. It also ignores mutual dependency. The universe could exist interconnected.
I thought you were talking about Copenhagen.
If existence is grounded in a system of mutual holistic dependency, there's no need for a single linear point outside of the system. If all things are contingent, then it is circular, and infinite regress is logically sound. If there is need for a necessary existent, then part of the cosmos could act as such. Lastly, the deist gap. The idea that the God is the best solution for the presumptions I've just went over. This commits the taxicab fallacy. They want to ride the logic train of causation all the way back to the beginning of the universe, but then arbitrarily hop off and declare God as the final destination. If a person were to accept that there must be a necessary existent, which we haven't established, then it is a logical leap between that realization and divinity, let alone monotheism. The entire logic train leads us to one of two places: something came from nothing, or something always existent. Ibn Rushd argued that you cannot prove the existence of God purely through abstract metaphysical concepts. He asserted that true philosophy must begin with physics, the observable material world. Anything else would be abstract leaps instead of verifiable knowledge. Searkar is taking the affirmative, meaning he's making a claim. As the negative, I'm saying this claim has not been substantiated. We will hear a lot of begging the question, a lot of, do you think this? Do you know this? Or do you know this? But Searkar debate isn't against me. It's against every line and form of argumentation ever proposed for an alternative. It is his duty as the affirmative to explain why every other explanation ever put forth is wrong and why his is the best. I'll end my time there.
Right. And now, Searkar, of course, it is your time. Same thing. Cross-examination, rebuttal, use it as you will. I'll start the clock when you start to talk.
Good. A few things, though. I don't use the PSR. My explanatory principle is restricted, not maximal. So I have a narrower principle about contingent concrete existence. So are you rejecting this restricted existential principle or falsely attributing to me a maximal one?
It sounded like you were explaining maximally, but you can change the premise if you want. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know what that fucking means. God, we need Brandon. Brandon, are you watching? Because Zherka is not joining. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the PCR means. You're not paying enough attention. Anyone watch? Anyone on the panel know what that means?
Nope. But probably does.
Damn it.
That's not. It's
well, maybe we can pick up the context.
It is
okay.
Only for any particular contingent concreta, there's an explanation of that fact that they exist. So that one doesn't have a metaphysical maximal element to it. So do you deny that contingent? Do you deny that contingent concrete things are normally explanation eligible, as in things that exist?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, the
what
principle
I
of
think
sufficient
normally. What
reason.
matters
This
is
does.
you are
This is
making a
natural world.
claim.
This is natural world.
Okay, what does it mean? That comes side. What does it mean about the maximal sense? What does that mean?
What does it matter what I think naturally? It matters what you think naturally, and you have to prove it outside of the multiple other interpretations that are out there. Why are you asking me personally?
It's not an interpretation. It is right now. You're on a camera right now. Do you deny that that
Yes.
contingent concrete thing has a normal explanation eligibility to it?
I can say that you have eligibility. That does not mean it's the best explanation, and it doesn't mean it's what is true.
Yeah, again, mine's not a sweeping principle of sufficient reason though. I don't make the claim.
Okay, he's saying it's being a limited claim rather than a
that,
universal one. Okay,
the same
gotcha.
one
Thank
that
you.
the PSR is with Leibniz. Mine's more narrow. And then next
If you
one.
want to restate it, you can.
No, I'm going to move on. So is brute fact an explanation for why anything exists?
You better be Kuming.
It can be. Many people have proposed such.
Okay. So
Brandon, you
what
have to
principle
be
tells
the
us to stop
interpreter. We're not going to get anything out of this if you don't join.
I'm not proposing a principle to stop there.
If you think brute fact is the explanation, then yes, you are. You are giving a stopping point. It's a metaphysical claim. You're putting forth one, even if you decide not to.
I don't accept that premise. I reject it.
Okay. Does explaining what a finite structure is explain that it's actual at all?
Does explaining what a
As in, how about this? Let me put it this way. If you declare that the universe laws, properties are necessary, does that establish their necessity at all? As in, what demonstrates their necessity rather than just saying they are?
No.
Well, you are assigning necessity to them. If you think that laws in and of themselves are the necessary component for it, right?
Is that a new spin though? I mean, maybe that's why you're putting in quotes, but
I'm not assigning necessity.
You're assigning necessary universe to necessary property claims. That would be what's happening.
No, you're trying to pin me down on one singular argumentation. Again, as I pointed out, there are several argumentations that can explain our reality outside of God is the reason why everything exists. That's our best explanation.
Okay, so
one of them
I'm gonna move
being
on.
the,
That's okay. We can move on.
necessity
We can move on.
principle of the universe.
So if I grant you that
yeah, I know. I mean, freaking Zherka already sent me 6 zip files filled with stuff, but I haven't had a chance to freaking read up on what all Tugby said. Okay, so I have no idea. Oh yeah, this helps me so much, Ankomsai. As John Zherka said, he made a modal jump when he went from Bruce and Rasputin to Aquinas. Basically, he's jumping arguments with a sufficient cause. I mean, if I know what Bruce and Rasputin was, then maybe I could understand that. I gave your mom a Tugby last night. Well, that's all I think of when I hear that word.
metaphysically rich, dependent structure, natural order, is what explains that this contingent order is actual at all.
Does he only have one argument?
It is still actual. Do we know what it is or that it is? We can describe laws and things like that, but what are they? Where do they actually come from? What makes them actual?
Well, when you're
using the
about
power of AI,
us describing something is just a logical map that we're putting onto reality. It doesn't make it the reality itself.
So you can't claim necessary universe from laws and things like that, then, correct?
People could, yes, they can.
Would they be doing something that isn't very explanatory? And it would be
freaking AI doesn't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. God damn it!
Logical person does, right?
I disagree.
Okay.
Because the theological claim adds an extra step, while the material claim is using observational data.
It's okay. There's one more thing.
Oh, good. Here's
Contingent
Brandon.
concrete things can exist without.
Brandon, teach us the ways.
Yeah, help us, Brandon.
I'm trying
We're
to figure it out too. Okay, I'm in the same boat as you guys. I think, at least from when I spoke to him, I understand what he's trying to do, but it just sounds like a contingency argument. I don't, not to be dismissive, but I don't know what's new about it.
Do you know this
Well,
Tugby
I think I know. I think I know. I think I know what is new about this. What I think he's saying is that's new is that he's not just saying things are contingent. What he's saying is he's giving an argument for why they're contingent, and I think this is rooted in some sort of metaphysical view about like the powers of objects being sort of like. I think he's using some sort of argument from like causal laws to argue they're contingent.
Yeah, see, when I spoke to him, he didn't mention anything about like causal laws or anything. So you might be right. I don't know.
Well, that's kind of what I got from him.
Brandon, give us, if you can, give us what you think Zherka's argument is in a way that we can understand it.
Well, Kirk was there when I spoke to him because I was having trouble with some of the language he was using. So I asked him to like spell it out in premise form so I can at least try to write it down. Now, he rambled for a long time. He gave me like one premise and just started rambling, which is fine. But I did get the one premise, and I think that's all that's needed because he said something like, for any contingent concrete thing, there is an explanation for that thing. But I mean, that
is kind of begging the question, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, because that's what's in contention, right? Because why should somebody accept that everything has, that is the principle of sufficient reason, to say that everything has an explanation. That's the strong version of it too. And he's saying he wasn't using a maximal version, but I don't know. I would just need to see it written out, I think.
Ancoms is using metaphysical priority to ground contingent concrete properties in the necessary underived grounding. Isn't that the same as like everything though? Like what's the new angle, I guess?
Well, so I think what he's saying specifically, what he's saying is that properties, which would include properties like gravity, for example, which are like relational concepts, these properties that exist, and he's saying that these have these metaphysical grounding in something higher, basically. So it's like what he's taking is this idea that you couldn't have the properties of nature or like laws of nature without some sort of metaphysical priority to ground the properties.
Okay, but I guess why? Like with the example of gravity, why does that need a metaphysical priority to ground it?
Right, that's just saying that
Well,
there needs to be an
I don't think it
explanation.
does. Like for example, in when we're talking about quantum gravity theories, they explain gravity as emergent from various things, right? So I think we can use. I mean, I don't think that Einstein, the general relativity, is a complete picture, right? Because I don't think you can reconcile that with quantum physics unless you change the theory. So I'm not a fan of that. But like, take it either way, whether you talk about Einstein or quantum gravity in general, or whatever. The bottom line is, I don't know why you need this metaphysical priority, but I'm saying that's what his argument is. I think it's different from Leibniz because he's not saying things are contingent because they're contingent. He's actually trying to give an argument based on metaphysical priority.
I guess I'm not sure what the argument is besides like a big tautology. A tautology I agree with, to be clear, but tautological nonetheless. Like I'm just not sure, what, because if you're already saying that, if I'm understanding this right and understanding what Ancom is saying that he said too, which seems to be, that he would give something like gravity as an example. Okay, so then, I don't understand. I get that he's saying it's contingent and there has to be something it's based on metaphysically, but I guess I don't know why exactly.
Oh, so then I guess gravity would not be a property. Then he's saying that's mass would be a property. But mass could just mean. I just don't see why you couldn't have mass from the fact that when particles form together, they have greater mass than when they're not formed together. Like I don't know why you need some metaphysical priority there.
Yeah,
and by metaphysical priority, are we saying like a metaphysical explanation, or are we saying something that's metaphysically necessary? What do we mean by that? Or do we know?
I would assume the latter. I would assume he's saying it's metaphysically necessary, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, then that can be what's in contention as well. Okay.
We really need Zherka to join, but Zherka is at work and he doesn't know exactly when he'll be off.
Well, let's just sum it up. Brandon, do I need to know this? Is this relevant?
No, not at all.
Okay,
None of
perfect.
it. Stupid.
That's my
Well,
opinion.
the thing that bugs me, and I said this to Zherka too, is that Zherka is still an atheist. So this is an argument he's making, but obviously he doesn't find it compelling enough to think to like change his views. So then in some ways, I know this sounds like low res, but why would I care about it if like, and I mean, I'm watching it, I'm interested in it, but like, if the guy who's made this novel argument himself is not convinced by it, then why should I find it convincing? You know, because the guy who made it, who knows all about it, who studied it, he says has been prepping for this for 3 months. He obviously doesn't find it compelling enough. So then he's kind of like just trying to steel man something. Well, I know he's arguing for my side, but he's doing so in a way that he himself doesn't find ultimately convincing. So then it's like, is it convincing?
Well, so
I don't know.
argument I would have for the contingency argument, and maybe Brendan can tell me if he doesn't like this idea, but the argument I would have is just, well, we can say something's contingent because we can conceive of it being differently, and because we can conceive of it differently, that means that if we could conceive of the gravitational force being different, we could conceive of entropy being different, so these are contingent facts, and that's why we need necessary grounding. But that's a conceivability argument, not necessarily what Searkar's saying.
Maybe. I don't know. No idea.
Well, what I'm saying is that I would say that you can say the universe is a contingent being because you can imagine the universe being different, right? Does that make sense?
We can imagine the universe a contingent being. Well, I don't know if that makes sense.
I have to consult my local fellow bro.
Well, okay. So what I'm saying is, I would argue the universe is contingent and not necessary because we can think that the universes would be different. So, for example, that entropy would be different, or gravity would be different, etc. Does that make sense? Not in the sense of you agree with it.
Yeah.
I think that also depends on the modality you're talking about.
And would you say that's like a reasonable argument, Confluence?
I mean, I agree with what you just said. I think it's possible. I don't really know how to connect it, I guess, but I agree with what you just said.
If you agree with what I just said, you agree with the contingency argument, basically, as I understand it, that most theologians do use.
I guess, like, help me complete the dots then. Like, if the universe can be different, then why does that necessarily mean there has to be, I guess, something that it's contingent upon?
Well,
because it can be different.
Because if the universe could have been different, because we can conceive of it being different, there must be a reason why it's this way and not another way, and the reason why it's this way and not another way must itself be necessary, because if it's contingent, then that's existence has to be explained, and because it has to be necessary, a necessary being who creates the universe, which is contingent, is called God.
Yeah, there's two. I think I can think of. I don't know if like you're laying out if you accept this, Kirk, or not. So don't take it as like me attacking it. But I think there can be like two responses to that. You could say that it is contingent, but there isn't a reason or an explanation. That's the brute view. Or you can say that it is contingent, and then it's contingent on something else, and then that goes back in an infinite regress. So I also don't see an issue with that view.
So the disagreement I would have with the first view is if it's contingent, I think it needs an external explanation, and because by definition, if it's contingent, there must be a reason why it's this way and not another way, in my opinion. And also, if you're talking about infinite regress, again, then why do all these contingent infinite regress things exist? So that I would just say, if it's contingent, there has to be some necessary grounding to sort of stamp it all out.
Yeah, well, I don't know if we want to keep going back and forth because. With the brute point, I don't see what the issue is with there being no explanation, because it sounds like you're forwarding, whether it's weak or strong, the PSR, like, well, there has to be a reason since it's contingent. We can think of it other ways, so there has to be a reason or an explanation. But I don't know why anybody would accept the PSR. You would have to give some sort of motivation for that. And I'm sorry, I don't remember your response to the infinite part, but if you're saying something like it's impossible, but...
The infinite, I would just say, is that it's impossible not because it's infinite, because I think infinity is possible, but I would say it's impossible to have infinite contingency, because I think a contingent being does require a necessary being to ground it. But I am curious real quick, I'll respond to it in a second, but I do kind of want to know, but Confluence, is this line of reasoning that I just said, are you at all sympathetic to it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay,
I actually, believe it or not, I would say I agree with you on the contingency point, where if you're going to have something that is contingent, such as we could be in a different universe than the one we're in now, you need an explanation for how we got here. My contention is You don't immediately fill the lack of explanation with God. God is a possibility, but you have to discount all other possibilities before you can come to that conclusion.
Well, what else would you call a necessary being who created the universe, if not God?
It doesn't need to be a being. There doesn't need to be any sentience involved at all.
Right, but
Well,
that's
if
not
it's a-
that's even
that's
what
not true,
Zherka said.
because-
He's not even defining it as a being, right? He's talking about some metaphysical underpinning, and he's
Well, it
just
does have to be a
calling
being
that
because of agent causation, right? Because if you're taking you're saying it doesn't need to be a being. Well, no, because
Zherka join.
I believe in agent causation, right? I think that agents can cause actions, not just events.
But there are also things in the universe that aren't caused by agents, right? Like planets orbiting around each other. It's not like it takes angels or demons for that to happen.
Okay, planets orbiting around each other. Well, that's due to gravity, right?
Your definition matrix is so confusing.
That's due to gravity, right?
Which part should I zoom in on?
I'm just saying that there could be an explanation for these things that is grounded in no agent or actors at all.
Okay, but is it due to gravity? Yes or no?
The orbiting of the planets, to an extent, yes.
So if it's due to gravity, gravity is due to the agents of space and time interact. So in string theory, it's due to gravitons. In other theories of quantum gravity, it's due to either curvature of space-time. Some say it's entropy, but take it either way. It's the interaction of fundamental particles, which are agents.
But you'd agree that we can't call those things God, right?
No, but they're not God, but it's still a form of agent causality because they're not events causing things; they're agents causing things.
Well, like if you said that God was a bunch of non-sentient forces that came together and conspired to make the universe without any like anthropomorphism, sure. I think God entails some sort of anthropomorphism or some intent.
Yeah, but it was but it's the Newtonian view.
Fuck is 9?
It's the
Control
Newtonian
F,
view
hurry.
that gravity
Just
is
goes to 8.
It was the Newtonian view that gravity is spooky action at a distance, but Einstein kind of overturned the Newtonian and got rid of the spooky action at a distance.
Sure, but I would just still say that doesn't mean that you can anthropomorphize what's going on, what we don't know about these things.
Zherka's fucking trolling me. He's saying go to 9. It only goes to 8. What the fuck? Bro's gaslighting me. Okay, 8. The source function layer. Okay, what part am I supposed to be looking at here?
Could be clearly.
Read the main title. The source function layer. I just did.
He said to go to 7.
7? Oh, bro, it's gaslighting me for real.
We're starting the infinite regress.
7.
Okay, the God classification layer. Okay, what part of this are we supposed to be reading?
Necessary being, I think.
Okay, the definition: something whose non-existence is metaphysically impossible. And the Zherka told me this is inside baseball with himself. Like these like sub things. The round function, important threshold, but not automatically the full affirmative conclusion. Distinguished from necessary underived ground, the supreme being. So it's not a being. The medium relationship targets, don't know what that means. Necessary concrete things, necessary underived ground. The live clarifier. This is the important thing he told me about. Necessary being is a major result. Wait, so it is a necessary being? I don't understand. But the resolution turns on explanatory role. I don't know what that means, brother. I don't know what that means. Brandon, do you know what that means?
I think.
Sorry, I was talking to my fiance. I missed all of that.
Nah.
What does this mean? What is a necessary being is a major result, but the resolution turns on explanatory role.
No clue.
Is bro casting spells? Because I think he might be. All you need is the 4. All 4 are relevant. Like what?
This could explain why we can't follow any of Searkar's arguments.
Like all 4 of these, necessary underived ground. Not every necessary thing is God. The relevant candidate must ground contingent concreta. This is just the different side of the coin of trenches slideshows that he does, if you think about it.
This is organized schizophrenia, Searkar. That's what this is.
Supreme or perfect being the motion asked for the ground of existence, not a full creed. Sorry. The gap problem. Are you denying the explanatory role or demanding additional attributes the motion never required? Yeah, I don't know. Brother, I don't know any of this. I don't know any of this means.
Imagine getting cucked by your own definition.
Okay, so I'm using the necessary underived ground. So that's this part. Okay, definition: a necessary reality that explains contingent, concrete reality and does not depend on anything deeper for the relevant explanatory role. Okay. Necessary reality that explains contingent. Okay, I think I understand that. I don't know any of these. This is the problem. I don't know what any of these mean. I don't know what the round function, and you said you just kind of came up with these. So without you explaining them, I'm not going to know what they mean. The round function is the exact God category defended in round. I don't know what that means at all. Distinguished from bare necessity.
Is this what AI psychosis looks like?
Yeah, this is
every
rough,
relationship
dude.
targets explanatory closure, best explanation, contingent, concrete reality, medium relationship targets, impersonal, necessary ground.
Like, I think Zherka's a good debater, but the simpler your notes are, the easier it is to actually follow your notes in the debate. Because the debate's never going to go your way. You're never going to be able to control the entire discussion, and if you do, then I'd argue
I guess
you're bad.
Yeah,
you're a bad debater in a different way. But
well, I understand. Like Zherka has said this. This is notes he shared with me. But yeah, this is meant for him during the debate. So that's why there's some inside baseball, and he can follow his notes as he says, which is fine. So yes, we can't.
The baseball is
that
very
is fair.
deep inside. That's all I'm going to
That is
say.
fair.
He
but
is
if
using
these are
that
personal
baseball.
notes, that's fine. Like they're not meant that. It's like, well, he's not preparing this document for for us to be able to understand it. He's saying
The
this is the
question is,
important
can he
part.
get the
that this is
baseball back out?
well, we'd have to see when he joins, but he's saying this is the definition of God, at least a necessary reality that explains contingent, concrete reality and does not depend on anything deeper for the relevant explanatory role. So then I guess this wouldn't have to be a being. This wouldn't have to be a mind, wouldn't have to be personal. It's kind of a very Spinozian, if you will, young Kirky boy.
Well, I wonder if this applies to like my kind of view of reality, which is that we're here and living. And so therefore, the only way we could be here actually is if there was some sort of inception that at least had the possibility of life to it. Therefore, I usually put this in a different way, and it's not necessarily any better, but basically the fact that we are here living proves that this is true. Anyways, never mind. I'm not going to try to break this out because it's been a while since I've talked about it. But it was essentially saying that this moment necessitates an inception moment. So
Zherka's lying to me again. Sorry, Mel, to cut you off, but Zherka says grounding is 2 before in the 6th section. It's not. There's no grounding does not show up in the 6th section.
So it's based on the idea that like since we're here, there cannot be nothing. Nothing is no longer a possibility, and so there had to be something at some point, and just the mere existence of something had to have come out of nothing at some point as well.
I think I agree with that.
I'd have to ask Brandon. Do I agree with that, Brandon?
No, you disagree.
No, yeah, fuck that. That's gay.
At least he's honest about it.
Zherka's probably getting his number because this is the grounding layer, so maybe he just means 3 by 6 if we're speaking Zherka.
Your AI is too lost in its own sauce at this point. You got to stop asking it what number it is. I feel like this is something where like you ask AI, like, can I organize my thoughts this way? And AI is like, yeah, sure, do that. And then you organize them that way, and AI has no idea what the fuck you're talking about at that point.
You got to keep appealing to AI.
It's not the best as an organizational tool. I've actually run into a thing where they automated orders through emails using AI, and it went terribly. It did not work.
Oh, he beat you to it, Keelan. Desperate need of obsidian. I use obsidian.
Perplexity is better, but that's all I'm going to say.
Obsidian is not an AI, Mel. Freaking use obsidian. Of course I use obsidian. What the fuck? That's how I prep for all my freaking debates.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of.
So it's just like Google Docs.
Yeah, it's like a far better. Like you can have like little links and stuff, and like hyperlinks to outside to inside. You can make little image maps. It's really good.
No,
Mel, think of it like OneNote, but not cucked by Microsoft. And this was created outside of Obsidian, or is this some weird formatting?
I don't know, because it's the site is xmind.com. I don't know if it was created in Obsidian. I'm
I
not
feel like
sure.
there should be some internal and external linking going on in this thing to compress it a bit.
That would probably help a little. But again, this isn't, to be clear, right? This is just for him. So if he can follow this in his debate, then that's all the use it needs, right? It doesn't have to be helpful to us. But the problem is Zherka's like, check out this matrix to understand. And I don't know if it's really helping to understand too much. But if Zherka was here, then Zherka's getting triggered. Look, it's hard to understand, okay, Zherka? If you were here. If you were here,
he's gonna do an entire stream that nobody's gonna have the time to watch, where he goes through it. I'm sure.
The problem is Zherka was here, but I was incredibly drunk last time, and so I don't know if I just wasn't understanding it because I was like 10 White Claws deep, or if Zherka was just doing a bad job understanding it. That's because you're letting these idiots stonewall. I don't know if that's the case. I feel like Brandon at least is helping us understand this. Okay, not that everyone else isn't, but
I mean, I believe I'm doing a little bit of a good job.
It's not the thing is it's like reading like Kierkegaard, where it's like I understand all the words, at least for the most part, but I don't really understand how they're being like strung together or like what the specific meanings are when they're connected. If that makes sense. Like it's like well, I know what all these words mean that you say, but it's like, yeah, I don't really know when they're put together in that specific order, then I feel like I'm getting lost in the sauce.
Yeah, it's like if you learned a language and you only learned what every word means, but you never learned any grammar.
Yeah, he wrote these notes for himself. They're not supposed to be intelligible to anyone else. So I don't know why we're.
Yeah, we've said that like 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
That's true. I have said that a lot. Let's go back to the video. Instead of getting cucked by all these retards that are derailing us.
I was having a convo with Kirk. I was chatting with Kirk. I want to know, Kirk, like, do you agree that we don't necessarily need something with like intent to explain like the causal origins of the universe?
I'd have to think about it more, but I would just say that if you have a necessary entity which is responsible for the contingent universe to exist, it must be immaterial because the universe is generally physical, and so it must be immaterial, spaceless, and timeless, and such an entity we call God.
William Lane Craig coded.
Wait, I don't necessarily call something that's spaceless and timeless God.
Spaceless, timeless, and immaterial.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call that God. For instance, I just call it nothing.
You should, though.
I just call it nothing. It could literally just be a void, an absence of anything, right? That could.
Well, nothingness doesn't exist by definition.
But because we're here, because the event, the causal event has happened, and like I said, I think true nothing is impossible. At some point, something will happen, and this is the result of the truth that at some point something will happen. Something could happen. Something did happen. It's happening right now. I don't see where you would need something with intent to put that in there. It's all just probabilities.
Sample, the link is at the top. It's also in the description, but you do need a camera and you have to go through a series of hand signs. So I know you're a real flesh and blood human being. I know Zherka's looking at us with those disappointed eyes. He's like that, you know, that like in the arms of the angel with the dying dogs and stuff. This is Zherka right now, being like, just please play my video and understand and look at my matrix.
Without explanation, as you described, what prevents arbitrary, unexplained reality from proliferating? What I mean by that is, if there's
07's Mo.
Actually, I finished the question. We'll just leave it at that. Does it make sense to you? I can maybe rephrase it for you if you like.
I would like.
I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and put the 30 minutes on the clock for you. Okay. Just go ahead and roll right into the open platform. Just go off, gentlemen. Continue.
So the question was about anti-chaos. So
the average Searkar hater.
Exists without explanation.
Fuck Searkar.
Unexplained.
Based.
I wouldn't know.
So that's not.
I'm not making a knowledge claim.
Okay.
You're making a knowledge claim. You tell me why God would be that one.
No, again, this is we're talking about metaphysical claims here, right? So if we
aren't.
say that
You are.
if we say that brute contingent existence is necessarily in and of itself, that is a metaphysical claim.
That is one multiple claim that you're competing with. You're competing with several claims. Don't try to narrow it down to one.
Which one are you putting forth then?
I'm not putting forth one. I am putting forth multiple.
Which one?
Choose an angle and we can go from there.
Okay, so if you just mean the scientific method, it doesn't explain anything beyond how to investigate existing reality.
And how does God explain that?
We can get to that. We can get to that. Yeah,
I would like to get to that. I mean, that's kind of the prompt.
Well, we're gonna go down what naturalism. I think I want to make sure that we get the right naturalism first. Okay. So, do you think that's not enough? Do you think that's explanatory, or do you think it's satisfiable?
Again, it doesn't matter what I think. You were putting forward what you think, and you have to means test that versus every
You're
other
technically
person
correct.
that's
I'll leave
ever
it to
come
the
up with.
audience then. I think that's not very explanatory. Doesn't have any explanatory meaning to it, and it doesn't really show. It doesn't have an answer for what I'm about to bring up in about a few minutes. Okay. Naturalism.
What's your answer to the thing I haven't said yet?
Right. So that is kind of like a rival ontology, but it still doesn't explain the actuality of it. Correct.
You know, I hate
like
that I have to
how
give this
it's
guy
grounded,
wins
what that is,
because I'm fair.
Not what it does, but like what it is. Correct.
Yes, it wouldn't explain that.
It's not very
But you would have to
explanatory
explain
there.
why we need an explanation. Why does it need an explanation, Zherka?
Because deciding to stop at flat naturalism is in and of itself an explanation. It's trying to make one.
You keep on throwing these things, such as that things exist, are real.
Like we're gonna move into a Grippus trilemma, and I'm worried.
Something needs to have a cause, and why does it?
It's not cause, not cause.
A Grillis trilemma.
You're saying they're contingent.
They're contingent,
right?
yeah.
That was the
You ever
beginning.
heard the phrase "that person's got a plank of wood up their ass"? Searkar is that personified.
Contingency, it doesn't mean as in like first cause principle. Okay.
No, I'm not saying first cause, but contingent would mean that a thing is
I
dependent
agree with
or
Tyler.
conditioned upon
Has a
something.
necessary, something necessary to it. Yeah, but necessary can be metaphysically.
Is he still in
explained
chat?
in
Searkar,
different
you
ways.
hear, you little bitch?
What I want to point out right now, okay, is.
Oh, you
I think
in a
natural
mustard,
reality should
Tyler.
not be treated like a
Retrocausality.
thorough inventory of brute items like you're giving. So, I'm going to talk about someone
What
called.
have I given as a brute reality? Or like a list of brute realities. The only thing I've mentioned once is that possibly
Okay.
in
let me
certain interpretations,
let me try
mass
and
energy
position
could
something
be
for you,
brute
okay? And I
force
want to see
instead
if
of
you
God.
have an answer.
Mel left to chirp from the chat because
Okay.
she's afraid of Tyler.
It might take.
I saw
I
that.
have the answer for it.
Well, your thoughts is what I want. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to be using someone called Tugby. Matthew Tugby is a metaphysicist, one of the world's kind of leading ones in certain ground theories. Okay. Now, Tugby does metaphysics within the natural world. Tugby gives me or tells me a precise contemporary framework for a kind of metaphysical dependence that I'm discussing with the main contingency argument. And what I mean by that is, he doesn't prove theism, but what he does do is he can show that powers are not merely free-floating modal facts, and they may obtain in virtue of qualitative properties things that ground them. So in this case, I want your mind to imagine what something like a qualitative property is meant to be mass. Okay, so mass is going to be a qualitative property, and then we have something called a power to gravitationally attract or a disposition. Now, the point here is not to show that there's like some metaphysical voodoo happening. My point here is to show that there is real layers that I can demonstrate using contemporary metaphysics that show a grounding and essential dependence that is constitutively sufficient and constitutively necessary for the power to attract, while metaphysically priority remains one way. So there's an asymmetrical metaphysical dependence going on here. If that is something that we can demonstrate, which we do within science right now, it's not obviously, doesn't prove God, it doesn't prove necessary universe. But my question is, if we can demonstrate a metaphysical asymmetrical dependence within the natural world using things like strong grounding theory, then why would the universe itself be just assumed to be explanatorily flat? If we can already see layers within the natural reality based on constitutive necessity and sufficiency.
Okay. So you're saying
what is he
because
asking?
basically, because it's going
I'm not
one
sure.
way, right? That
No.
there seems to be a pattern. Oh, okay.
So it for a full grounding to take place, not a
Yeah.
partial ground, the grounding base needs to be sufficient within the relative or relevant metaphysical framework for what is grounded. Okay? So in a grounding explanation is a explanation of metaphysical priority. So it's not merely like a effect causation thing. It is they're kind of one in each other. So it is a constitutive metaphysical explanatory relation between a fact, property, or structure that is obtained in virtue of the other, but only is fully actualized once its properties in place, the qualitative property, mass, to do full grounding, to give the power its ability to disposition, to do disposition.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I have no fucking clue what you.
I feel the same way.
That's okay. My
Random
main point
debater
is,
guy.
I can demonstrate layers within natural reality in contemporary metaphysics right now. So what I want to ask you is, do you agree that Tugby may show real metaphysical dependence within nature? And
I don't know why Searkar still hasn't
without
shown up
thereby
on
answering
Hell
why
yet.
contingent nature exists at all? You would agree to that, right?
How would I be able to agree to something?
True, I gotta go.
Searkar's Kirk.
Or any of his proofs or threads or any of that. Why would
He is. He's like, what about this particular niche thing that I read about this particular subject? What do you think about that? It's like, bro, just make your fucking argument.
I know it is like this is reminiscent of the Andrew Wilson debate with the palagenetic ultranationalism, where it's like, if the debate was about Tugby, then at least the other guy could have a chance to like read the same literature. But like, I don't think it was about that. So like, Zherka's like, do you agree with what Tugby said here? And it's like, you'd probably have to, in the same way that we would have to probably read a bunch of Tugby to like figure out if we agree with that or not.
Yeah, it's like, no, Kirk, shut up. I didn't read your fucking Wikipedia article. Just argue the point. I get it.
And that was kind of what
I don't
happened with the other
I don't
thing.
read Wikipedia articles.
Shut up. Yeah, you do.
I don't.
Yeah, I feel like Zherka needs to find a way to dichotomize it from the specific like people he's read it from and present it without the need to like know all this stuff, unless the debate was specifically about that. But if it's just not, then it's like, I don't know. You can't that was the.
I'm usually fine with natural language, but when I spoke to him on horseradish's panel, like I said, that's why I had him write it out, because nobody knows what he's saying. And if you just like write it down and then figure out the language first, that would be super helpful, because that's where everybody's getting lost, is the language.
I mean, he tries this. I don't know. I know what he's trying to say when he does it. I just think it's stupid debate tactics. Like he'll try to relegate you to a false dichotomy of the person he just read about, and it's similar to like a Destiny style tactic of, I read this book. It's like you're debate bragging in a sense, and it's just if you really want to win, you drop the fact that you read the book and just take the ideas from it and incorporate them into your arguments, and then make the person argue against the articulated point. Now, this is what this guy said. What say you?
Right. No, that's
I
true.
agree, but I don't actually know if it's a tactic, because even when I talked to Zherka the other night, like, and I'm not debating, I'm just trying to understand. I felt like it was still incredibly difficult. Yeah, I don't think he's trying to do it to like win or anything like that.
It is a tactic.
Like,
I don't think he's knowingly doing it, but that is something people do in debate.
But I'm just saying, when I'm trying to just honestly, and I think he knows I'm being good faith, but I'm just trying to understand it, it's still very difficult to like, maybe on my part of understanding, on his part of communicating, or a mix of A and B, which is probably more likely. it's like there's no winner there. I'm just trying to honestly understand his argument, and it's still like very difficult without like reading a bunch of zip files ahead of time that he sent me.
That's the thing, though. Before he starts doing that stupid thing he does, he's actually very good at setting up stepping stones for his arguments. Like, I've given him props for this multiple times. Like, when he's trying to get you to that stupid thing, he's very good at saying this step and then this step and then this step and knowing what the audience requires to logically move on from point A to point B. I've seen him fucking do it. It's just he's too smarmy to hold that composure.
I wonder if he's just maybe done some type of like over prepping in a way too, where because for both this and the Andrew Wilson one, he like really spent a lot of time researching, and maybe he doesn't realize that like if he's reading all this background stuff, the other person hasn't read that background stuff, so he has to like take those ideas and make them in an understandable way where you would get them without having read Griffin and his theories of fascism to necessarily get like the points that he's making. Because it seems like he researches heavily, makes all these notes, but then doesn't realize that this has to be condensed into an opener that like people can understand and your debate opponent can understand, and you gotta like be able to explain in a concise way. That just feels like an issue I've seen twice now. Which again would be fine if the debate topic was hyper specific to one of these people, but if it's not, then it's like I don't know. I would hate to be this atheist guy in this situation, man. You're just like hit with all this nonsense, and you're like, well, geez, how am I supposed to possibly deal with this?
Well, then the next person that has to happen, though, is the judges have to understand it, and that's why he often loses. I don't want to, no spoilers here, but he takes the big L on this one because nobody knows what the fuck he's talking about, including the judges.
Right, and that was kind of like the Andrew Wilson thing. Like once, I still don't think Zherka, like I still don't agree with his point in that one about like Trump being a fascist and stuff. But once I talked to Zherka for hours on end and like went through it all, then it's like, okay, at least I get what you're saying and I can tease this apart and stuff. But it's like, yeah, if I just watch the debate as a standalone thing without talking to one of the debate participants and understanding it, then it's like it's very very incomprehensible.
Hey, Brandon, what do I think about this?
What's that?
I said, what do I think about all this?
Oh, it's gay and retarded.
Yeah.
Beast.
Some of the inferences we mentioned earlier. Inferences by best explanation.
See Wesley? This is the guy with the end time prophecies for those of you that aren't keeping up with the Conflu lore of it all.
So the theory,
He's cooking, by the way.
What has the most explanatory power, though, right? And I think contemporary metaphysics right now is showing.
Hey, Steel Man.
I think technically that
a lot of
contingent
things.
natural.
If I said right now there's a spaghetti monster.
Sorry, I just gotta pause. I feel like so much of my community is like a part of like The Simpsons in a way, where it's like everyone comes in and says, like Steelman comes in, he's like, Jesus Christ, the magic mushroom, and that's just like that's what he does. That's his thing. Wesley comes in, he's dropping end time prophecies. Testy comes in, he'll say something like super, blasphemous. Everyone's got their little stereotype that they enjoy playing into.
Like fixes all of this problem, and that is what is the contingent.
Ag shaking his head.
And I could explain everything away with this one magical spaghetti monster. That doesn't mean just because I can explain everything in theory that means it holds up truth. You need observational and verifiable data.
So who's doing the magic wand waving away when I mentioned that Hugby is trying to explain using a modal depth within the natural world to show relations
It's a casual race.
powers and dispositions rather than a layered, which shows a layered explanation of natural reality rather than one who just puts forth brute fact. I mean, mass and gravity exist. Gravity exists because it exists.
Oh, good.
Even though
True, Wesley. True.
is definitely not waving a magic wand, are they?
I'm not saying that gravity exists because gravity exists. That's something that you're adding in here, and you're saying that Tugby
Gravity is a law.
Gravity's
Gravity's existence as a law within the framework of one of the frameworks that you provided would be simply that. It would be it exists necessarily because of it exists.
I
Correct?
did not say that about gravity.
Okay, so which naturalism are you going to go with?
I'm not picking one. You have to contend with all of them. Contend and debunk every.
Okay, fine. I can do that. I can do that. So flat naturalism again treats natural order as brute arrangement. That would be the one we just talked about. Rich naturalism accepts robust laws like the one I'm mentioning, which is one you probably identify with a lot. And then same with me.
Hey, Mara.
Necessary nature naturalism claims the whole order could not have failed to exist.
Speaking of Simpson characters.
Now, each of these has a different burden, in my opinion.
What's up, God?
Something like a rich natural order may explain more within a reality, but
I'm not sure how to answer that, Wesley, honestly.
Order is actual, so this is the problem when it comes to
Right, 07's Brandon, thank you for joining. He says he has to go in the private chat.
And
Too bad Brandon wasn't here earlier for the earlier philosophy of mind discussion.
I have a question for Big Soda. Big Soda,
Yeah.
would you like to smell the smell that happens when the enforcers of the Mark of the Beast appear at all your grocery stores nationwide?
I would like to smell it at least once.
I would say you have to. I mean, the curiosity alone would have to get you. So I think our answer is yes, Wesley. We're curious. Yep. Okay, we're curious.
Just a little bit.
Maybe this is it. Jesus, will you please put that smell of the laser printer and the burning flesh that shall happen at all grocery stores in the U.S. when the mark comes? Okay, is anyone smelling the laser printer and the burning flesh? I'm not smelling it, Wesley.
I may be a little crazy, but I think I smell it.
You smell the laser printer?
I think
or
so.
the burning flesh or both? I don't know what a laser printer really smells like. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm smelling burning feathers.
I mean, I know what a printer, I guess, smells like. Is that maybe that's what a laser printer smells like?
A laser printer, like I'm pretty sure, just smells like kind of like smoky
paper almost.
Smoky.
Yeah, it's kind of smoky, kind of like the paper. It probably is hot paper. That's probably what we're smelling because I mean, it's I guess burning the paper.
Now you're making me crave like a bacon mac and cheeseburger with all this talk about smokiness.
Well, now you're making me hungry.
Laser printer smell of corruption in the patent industry.
Ah. Was that what you meant, Wesley? Are we supposed to be smelling the corruption in the patent industry specifically?
Be the question of a necessary structure is not necessary concrete actuality of itself, right? So my problem with thinking that
Wesley and Joan to talk. That's the 1v1 I want to see. Okay.
Naturalism and
no, I want to see Wesley and Mara talk.
Naturalism, or sorry, and global necessity, is that you are saying technically that concrete natural order could not have failed to exist, as in there's no way it could not have existed, right?
No toys, Wesley? That's the worst part.
I'm listening.
The Earth exists, correct?
Depends what we mean by exist, but I'm willing to bite the axiom.
The Earth could also not exist, right?
Zherka, if you're watching this, Wesley is mocking you from the chat.
I mean,
okay,
we definitely could. Could also not exist. You could be
what I've
sitting
noticed
on the
this
ground.
whole time is
no, 1 second, Kay. You could
I've
be
noticed
sitting
this whole time that you're
sitting in a
bunch
chair
of
right
people
now,
out
but that
that
chair
haven't defended
could
your
have not
position.
existed, correct?
I'm waiting for you to defend the position of what you're claiming.
Correct. So this is the defense. A chair has an explanation for why it exists, correct? Because it could not exist as well. That is a fact.
You claim it's a fact, but I don't know where you're getting this. You have to prove this. You keep on putting out claims without any proofs of your claims.
Can you imagine?
You can't load
Can
technical.
you imagine the chair
jargon.
you're sitting on not existing?
I don't know. I don't know what non-existent would be. I can't imagine nothingness. Maybe it's a misnomer. Maybe nothingness doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's a weird answer to Zerk's question there.
So I just want to point out that that's kind of just a nonsensical statement. It definitely could
How would
not
it be
exist.
nonsensical? Have you observed nothingness? Have you observed nothingness? Like, what would nothingness even be?
It wouldn't be explanatory, and it wouldn't be the reality we live in, I think. You think?
Yeah, so all we have known is something. And in this something, we have the first law of thermodynamics. Things are happening.
Which is
they're
now an
constantly
assertion.
moving.
You are now asserting something. Okay? I need you to understand that. You are now asserting that that very thing is in and of itself a necessary explanation for why it exists. It is contingent on that fact.
That is in explanation.
which is makes
an explanation of
which
the world
makes
is that the
contingency
world is
now
necessary.
a fact. So there's an explanation for you just said there's an explanation.
Wesley, can you
There's
do me
also
a
an
favor and
explanation for
make
the
Piss
chair
Sticker
existence.
Johnson smell
Correct?
burning flesh and laser
There's multiple
printers, please? Thank you.
explanations. It's about what is the best explanation.
Correct.
What are you
Correct,
saying
correct,
is
correct.
the best explanation for why this chair exists?
So, well, someone made it, but metaphysically, metaphysically, okay. The reason that I believe the best explanation would be an ultimate necessary underived ground.
Rage, I think we
is
both know the
because
answer
at
is
the moment,
it's no.
explanatorily and in ways that we can imagine in a logical and explanatory way, much in the way we do inference, the best explanation on many things like multiverse and all that kind of stuff. Why gravity?
Searkar does more brain damage to me than ecstasy.
When only whenever only a property is around, correct? So these are all ways that we can logically deduce natural reality within a layered asymmetrical metaphysical dependence. So my point is simply asserting that that necessary structure itself, the necessary naturalism itself, is somehow still an explanation, even though we can actually may be able to demonstrate explanatorily rich layers within the natural world. That opens Pandora's box in my view. Because gravity in and of itself seems to exist, but only once a property fully grounds it, which is mass. And
It seems like special pleading, though. You are saying that there's a strict rule, and then you're saying outside there is this thing that is not a part of the strict rule that can.
No, it is. It is
magically do
Tugby's
what
work.
you need it to do.
Tugby's work. It works within rich naturalism. Tugby's work is a rich naturalist framework. Believe it or not. What I came to realize is that the very fact that Tugby's strong grounding
And now I
theory
got to
and
look
what it
up
has
rich
in common day,
naturalism.
has an asymmetrical and constitutive sufficient and constitutive necessary.
God, I'm worse for looking it up. Rich naturalism blends physicalism with a deep appreciation for the world, grounding meaning in ethics and science rather than a supernatural. How is that different from just naturalism? That's just naturalism with extra steps.
It's the rich version.
It's the rich person's naturalism.
It sounds like it's just naturalism, but just saying we like it though, and we still are gonna like find it meaningful. At least from the brief thing I looked up, I don't really see how that's any different from just normal naturalism.
I think what you got was just AI slop, and I think there's probably a technical philosophical term he's using.
No, I'm on naturalism.org, which I mean, I don't know if that's a good site, but I mean, it's got naturalism in the name.
That checks
Or
out.
naturalism. That could help you deduce it.
A horse went to the bar every day, and one day the bartender asked the horse if he's an alcoholic. The horse said, "I don't think I am," and poof, he disappeared. And this is because of, I think it's Descartes. Is that how you pronounce it? His principle of like, I think, therefore I am. But if I would have told you that before I said the joke, that would have been putting Descartes before the horse.
Boo.
That's really good. I actually like that a lot.
Way
So
too
that's a 10 out
complicated.
of 10 joke. That's a 10 out of 10 joke.
Peeping Tom.
That's a pretentious
It's
joke.
not. I don't know if it's as good as Peeping Tom, but
I'm not saying yours is AI slop. What I'm saying is that the summary of naturalism that he just got might have been AI slop.
That checks out.
I don't. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know, but it seems, I don't know. They both seem to understand what they mean by rich naturalism, but just at least Googling it doesn't really seem anything special. But
Every time you keep saying that, I keep thinking you're about to say rich nationalism.
okay, so don't be a little bitch because I'm not here. Wait, who are you talking? Oh, you're
I
talking
think it's
to
talking to
Kurt.
me. No, I was
Yeah.
saying that. No, I was saying not your summary. I was saying that
Yeah,
the
say it
summary
in
that the
space,
site
Kurt.
gave, the summary that the website gave of rich naturalism may have been AI slop.
Kurt's been talking
now
shit.
now you're backpedaling energy.
That's not true. That's what I was saying the whole time.
Yeah, come on, Searkar, you gotta get on panel. Kurt's been talking all types of shit to you.
Is the idea that the natural world has modal layers.
layers.
It's really
Yeah, that's
not hard. Yeah, I love the condescending bent really helps people understand your
Well,
arguments.
modal layers just means different layers of possibility, as I understand that, right?
I think
Isn't
Searkar
that-
is gay because like he's way too sassy to be straight.
He is very sassy. He's incredibly sassy. But so is Alex, and Alex
Yeah,
is
I was
straight.
gonna say Alex is sassy. Kurt can be a little sassy, but that just
But Kirk's probably a little gay. So I mean,
Don't threaten me with a good time.
oh, okay, okay.
But gay in the sense that I want to be a woman and I like women.
I'm about to threaten you with arrest for being gay.
I'll harass you for being gay, Kirk. I won't let you down. Queer.
Also, are we really gonna get through all this tonight? Because this is long.
No, we're definitely not. That's the thing. We're gonna get to freaking talk to Zherka because he's still at work, and I have a hard out in like 25 minutes. So,
I mean, to be fair,
keep watching this, or can we move on to a different subject?
No, let's keep watching it. We gotta do it for Zherka.
We gotta do it for John, friend of the show.
It would be nice to have the retard translator of his.
But hold on, we can put it on like 10x speed. I mean, it's not like we'd be any more confused.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not
Can
going
we
to hinder
rewatch-
our comprehension.
Can we rewatch Kirk's debate?
That debate actually at least made
That was
sense. Okay.
Yeah, that was a good debate. Good debate.
This is just this is one of those that you really do need Zherka here and about 6 hours to unpack everything.
I need Brandon
Better
to
for
tell me
worse.
if he's telling the truth.
At the end of the day, though, I had to learn this myself with fucking debate in Israel. If all you do is info dump facts and you don't actually make a coherent argument as to why your point's good, and the other point is bad, and you're just dunking on them because they haven't read something, they don't know something, you're gonna lose. Like,
Yeah, okay, I could see that.
sometimes for me, overwhelming the person with information is my own personal win. So whatever.
I like to sometimes overwhelm people with information.
I know, but yours comes from AI. Nobody thinks it's coming from your brain.
But it's not from AI, it's from books or articles.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, that's
From
how AI
excerpts,
works.
Kirk.
Yeah.
No, I have actually read books. Believe it or
Oh,
not,
yeah?
I
Have you
have
ever
read
read
books.
Don Quixote?
I have not read Don Quixote. But I have read your mom when she put me in her clothes last night.
Oh, that was a good one, Kurt.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Wait,
Not terrible. I didn't hate it.
which one? The white one or the Taiwanese one?
Yeah, you got to specify.
The white one.
Just like you,
Tyler.
Kirk, I have two moms, one biological, one non-biological.
Keelan,
Tyler,
you're deciding what?
Have you ever read Don Quixote?
I don't know what the fuck that is, bro.
Wow, Tyler, you've never read that?
Wow. Get
And you're a
him, Kirk.
debater?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
You guys ever read Harry Potter? That's like the last book I fucking read when I was a kid.
I mean, that's not a bad book.
Yeah, I use an app called Blinkist, and it's basically like AI before AI, but it's a human that goes through and reads a book and then writes a book review and reads the book review to you.
You're getting some Indian.
No, it's usually the
Getting
author,
some
actually.
Indian guy to read your books for you.
No, it's US based. But that'd be cool. Yeah, maybe I'll do Fiverr.
Hey, Diane.
Hey, Dinesh,
Also,
write a book report here for me.
Average female debater spurged out on If You're Feeling Adventurous, aka Zach, the other night.
On what?
They were debating community impact on individuals, and she was spurging out on him, or her community was.
Yeah, Kirk, you're talking shit to all the chat people.
Kirk's taking everybody on. Yeah, Testy, there's a job opportunity opening. You can quit those call centers. You could just be a full-time reader for Tyler, okay?
Call centers? Are you implying that because he's Indian, he's a call center? Because I thought that's 7-Eleven ownership they do.
I'm saying Testy has worked for several call centers and very well might continue to work for several call centers.
Can we just recognize that if like all the Indians in the world disappeared, our society would collapse?
Yeah, who would read our books for us? I agree.
It would if it would take a little bit of decoupling first, but yeah, we could make it happen. Just not right now.
Yeah, who would we call if we needed help putting together appliances?
Who would scam us out of our hard-earned retirement funds?
Indians don't even own IKEA. Come on, don't tell me about furniture.
Who would get hit by trains when, we don't have Indians?
if we got rid of H-1B visas, we would be just. I think a lot of American workers would take up IT jobs.
Indians are just like Jews, except like less people hate them.
Tiny amount. It's just
I would agree with that.
Programming jobs.
So I feel like that's kind of a Rorschach statement, Kill, and I feel like almost everyone can agree with that, but in radically different ways.
It's our medical industry they prop up significantly more than anything else, and our hotel ownership. But it's mostly the medical industry that like they're fucking huge. Them and Filipinos are huge contributors to per capita. So we'd have to like get like fucking tens of thousands of medical workers, and then we can kick them all out.
I would agree with that. Like if we could get more medical workers, but then I would say the way to do that would be to deregulate or make getting a medical license easier.
We're closer to killing enough people to not need those medical workers than we are to getting more medical workers.
The way is not to lower standards. That's a way, and that's a stupid way to do it. There's also ways to provide incentives to people, like, hey, we'll do X, Y, and Z if you go and get this particular degree. Or you can just rally public support, which is how it's always been done, you know? Make a couple shows like fucking House, make people want to be doctors, and then sign them up.
Yeah, first of all, Diane, first of all, we are close cousins. We're not distant cousins. And second of all, I don't know what happened on Saturday, so I have no idea if it was miscategorized or not.
Yeah, you had to come out. Also, I'm not a libtard. I'm a conservative.
He's an autistic transgender conservative.
He's a Noah-tard.
He's a Noah-tard. Holy fuck.
I think that one might stick, Kirk. Sorry to say.
A Noah-tard.
I have no idea. I don't even know who Zach is, and I have no idea. You know.
Well, can we watch the? You want to watch the debate like soon?
To be fair, I do know a tard.
Could do that Wednesday. Hey Diane, what are you doing Wednesday? You want to do a live react or Thursday?
Well, why not
debate?
tomorrow?
Tomorrow is racist trivia, which I will have to look at those questions ahead of time to be very clear. Usually I don't, but with a subject like that, that's like when Anson made the trivia. We definitely did have to do some proofreading on that one. Where is Anson, by the way? Anson sent me a message the other day saying I'm blocked again, just out of nowhere. I don't know if it's true or not. But
you haven't been following the thread. Like he's been slowly blocking more and more people over the past few months, and then he's been he's been saying more that he's addicted to this form of media and that he's trying to get off of it. And then he said he's going to TOS spur your panel. I don't know if he's coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried. I mean, when he was smoking all those cigarettes, I was worried that he's just like trying to cut more and more people out, at least in the online sphere. But then he came back after that, and then he said he actually didn't block me. And so I don't know. But yeah, I do get the vibe that, yeah, maybe he's just trying to like, you know, I don't know. But I hope he comes back. For reviewing, I will likely have plans Wednesday evening unless you start early, like 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is that like 5 p.m. my time? I'm off streaming Thursday because I have a big panel show on Friday with a Red Pill celebrity. Ooh.
I don't believe you.
Dang it. Well, that doesn't really leave many days. What time are you free? When do you have plans on Wednesday? Is 6 p.m. Eastern time 5? Am I right about that? Is 5 Central, right?
I think so, yeah.
What time zone are you in, Confluence?
Central. I don't usually start till like 7:30 or 8.
What city do you live in?
Iqaluit, actually.
What
As I said before.
What's the zip code?
I'm not going to tell you that. I don't even know if they have zip codes in Iqaluit. Okay.
In any event,
Well, actually,
I think
know
Wednesday.
they don't have zip codes in Iqaluit.
Would you be able to start early Wednesday, or would work prevent that?
Yeah, work would prevent that.
Okay, that's unfortunate because I really, if you streamed early, I think a lot of people would like that, including myself, because more time streaming.
Well, yeah. I mean, I might be streaming a lot earlier come soon because my job contract is almost up, unless it gets extended further, which is totally up in the air. So it could be done.
I hope it doesn't get extended.
Weeks.
Personally,
that's awful.
Well, I appreciate that Kirk wants
If he was
more
a full-time,
stream, you know?
if he was a full-time streamer, people would donate more money, and so he wouldn't need a job. That's not necessarily awful. It would be a
Yeah,
different job.
it just depends, you know. That's a big uncertainty, you know. That's a big
Yeah,
uncertainty.
it's like the Heisenberg uncertainty relation, right? The more you measure it, the less you can measure its position.
I don't know if it's like that at all, but I appreciate the try.
Confluence is a man. He has discipline. He follows a religion, and he does acts for that religion. So, like, he has real discipline.
Are you making fun of me?
I'm not making fun of you.
Making fun of Kirk. I'll allow that.
But that doesn't even make any sense.
Kirk, do you like pork?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Shame.
Why does Kirk sound like, I don't know, like he's not from Alabama? Because I'm not from Alabama. I'm originally from New Orleans. And now I live in Picayune, Mississippi.
Oh.
Do I think I could not drink for a month? I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, until like maybe 6 months ago or something, I used to just drink like 3 times a year. Now I like to have a couple beverages here and there to be sure, you know.
Confluence, you'd feel so much better if you didn't drink.
But today I had this is all, not to talk about my drinking, but I had this. This is all I had, right, for this evening. I mean, that's like, if that's a problem, okay, come on. You know, one little bottle of soju. I mean, come on.
Hey, fuck you, buddy.
Not
you guys, sorry, someone in my game.
Holy
shit. When are you gonna debate Elden Ring?
I don't know. I'm down. We just gotta try to find some like judges that know the lore. So, like, you know, like we say something inaccurate and we get dinged for it.
What
It's
if
like, you guys aren't qualified. If you knew of people, you're not qualified. I already know. We've had a conversation about it in here with several people present, and I realized right away none of you know this shit.
About Elden Ring? I mean, I've platinumed the game.
Okay, so what?
I wasn't talking about me. I was talking about some of my friends.
If you find me a judge that actually knows that shit, I'm down. I'm looking. I've been asking like YouTubers and shit. That's how I met Confluence. I was watching his videos and I was like, "Hey, man," in his fucking comments. It was a
That was the
parasocial
entire
meeting.
reason that I started streaming. That was the entire reason that I got into this, because he's like, you should debate on Wix in one of my YouTube comments. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I did, and that's how everything. So that's why Tyler's one of my freaking simp passes.
We formed a parasocial relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He's preying on his commenters.
But Tyler, what is the best ending?
I'm not going to give away too much. It's the Chaos Flame, hands down.
That's what me and Tyler were going to be debating. It's the freaking the Ranny one, whatever it's called. Can't remember the freaking name of it now, but that's the best ending.
I mean, the Ronnie one is
Yeah, I can make the offensive argument. I'm not making my defensive argument. That one's a secret in the bag until the night of the debate. The offensive argument is all you're doing is propping up the hierarchy with a new dictator, and you're picking one that's even more cold-blooded because she fucking murdered her brother for no other reason than she needed him dead for her plan to be achieved.
that's a bad argument. That's a bad argument.
She's a fucking sociopath that uses people.
That just ignores what she does at the end of the game.
Everyone that followed her died. And she didn't give a flying fuck.
By her hand or by the fucker that made people into puppets?
No, she let them. No. Blythe died because he was attacked. E.G. died because he was attacked by black knives.
It's not her fault.
I think you killed Blythe, don't you?
Hold on. The Lord
Blythe becomes insane.
Yeah,
that's why he attacks you. He puts you in a self-defense situation.
The Lord of Chaos dude is sad that some people die. He just wants everyone to die.
I can't go into that argument right now. That's my trump card for the debate. So we're gonna have to just argue about the offensive part of it right now. Don't worry about the Chaos Flame.
Keelan, what do you think is the best ending? Do you agree with me?
Do I agree that the Ronnie? I don't really care about the ending of the game. I hate the game. I don't hate the game. I like all of the game. I like the parts of the game up until you get past defeating the final version of is it Morgoth or whatever he goes by at that point, Margit. After that, I start to like the game a lot less.
Why? You know, like Farah Missoula or whatever?
I hate Farah Missoula.
What about the Rot Goddess? The area kind of sucks, but the boss is fucking fire, man. And she's low-key a cutie, if you think about it.
What are you talking about?
Melania.
I like I like fighting her, but
that's probably my least favorite spot in the game.
The area kind of sucks with those bubble people that knock you off the branches. Fuck that place, man.
The expansion has got the fucking coolest spots. Again, that fucking sunken abyss, dude. That's where it's at. You know what the abyss? I don't know. I can't.
The final boss of the DLC, it's like with my normal build, I beat it on like maybe like the 6th try or something, and then I tried to do it without any any spells, just a no shield and just a weapon, and it took me like 200 tries. Like it was ridiculous to like actually learn how to dodge and not use any like magic and just like smack them. Took so fucking long. It was absurd. Probably one of the hardest boss things I've like tried to do in a game. Just because I'm so used to like using a shield and stuff in all these games.
This was my
Keelan
first
doesn't
Souls
like the
game.
DLC though, which is crazy.
This is my first Souls game, and I didn't know how to run for like 40 hours of it, and I was just walking everywhere.
No way.
It was not good. I was like, this game fucking sucks.
I'd already watched videos, so I knew that there was a horse you get very early. I was too excited for it.
I joined with my friends, and they're just running around, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
How do you unlock that ability? What the heck? You got to play the other Souls too. I don't know if you'd like them though, because they're more like dark, I guess.
And Souls. They're more dark and Souls.
Yeah, they are more dark and more soulish.
I started Dark Souls 3, but I don't really like it.
It's the worst of the three. You got to play the original. The original is like the Matrix, self-contained. It's an amazing, well put together, well thought out game that none of the rest live up to, even though the graphics kind of suck in the modern day. It's a fucking masterpiece. Dark Souls 2 is my personal favorite. That's a big thing that the fandom argues over. And then 3 is my least.
It gets a lot of hate, but I don't know. Like I like Dark Souls 2. I think it's great. I don't know. Everyone like gives it so much shit. Sekiro is of course incredible. I don't know if it's really in the Dark Souls sphere though. You know.
No, Bloodborne's the only one that fits.
Yeah, like Bloodborne. Yeah, but Sekiro feels like entirely like there's some similarities, but it feels very different. Sekiro is a freaking hard game.
I never beat it. I got a little irritated with it early on. I was like, this is stupid. I should go back to it.
It's really good, really rewarding. Keelan, I think you would like that one.
I doubt it.
But it's very challenging. And there's like Elden Ring has a lot of ways to make stuff easier. And Sekiro really, out of all the Souls and Souls adjacent games, it is the least way. So it's like one of those where you just have to hit your head against the wall until you do it. But it's very beautiful, very soulful. And yes, Kirk is on the Discord. Yeah, he's eMart money in there. So he's doesn't have his usual handles. But it doesn't look like John Zherka is going to be joining us. He's just running from Brandon, running from Big Soda, now running from even me. It's crazy.
He ran so far away.
He did. But we will be back tomorrow. I know Keelan will not out of protest, which is fine.
Wait, how early do I have to get into to join the trivia?
How? Say again?
How early do I have to get into join the trivia?
It usually starts at like 8 Central Standard Time.
Okay, but do I have to get in right away, or?
I mean, you can join later on. We usually start at 8 or 8:15, sometimes 8:30, and then you can join at any time. Yeah, sometimes later.
Wait, so I but no, because I've joined the trivia previously, and you said I had to wait until the after party.
Well, if you want to play, so if to have the after stuff is like open panel after. If you want to play trivia, you can technically join at any time, but then you're just not going to have the points. You don't get like comped points or anything. But you could join like halfway through and then just play along. But yeah, you can't come in and ask. You can't come in and ask philosophical and literary questions during the trivia. That's the point.
Oh, wait,
Your
but
gold membership? Did you get a membership, Avery?
I'm saying
Did I not get an announcement?
How early do I have to join to get points?
Well, like I said, I feel like I can't explain this more. If you could join at any time.
You said if I joined halfway through, I don't get points, right?
You don't get comped points. Like you don't get, if everyone is at like 10, 9, and 8, it's not like I give you 8 points because you joined late. You'll just start at 0 points. You get whatever points of the questions you get right. You just won't get like points for being late to like balance it out. Does that make sense?
Oh, I thought you said you didn't get points. I didn't hear the. Oh. Okay, no, but you still get points.
Oh, it looks like Avery does. I don't know why it doesn't give me a notification,
Wait,
but Avery
just
has
to
got
clarify-
a membership, which I don't know why it doesn't tell me. But
You
thank
still.
I don't
You
know.
still get okay, so you still get points. You just don't get compensation points.
Yes, you don't get.
Okay, sorry,
from the
I misheard
previous
you. I thought you said you don't get points.
No. I said, yeah, you don't get comped points. Like you don't get previous points. But
Okay.
yeah, you could join it. You could technically join in the last 5 questions if you want to, but then you're definitely not going to win. But that's fine. You can still join and play along at any time.
Also, Rage Pitch is asking, is she's a woman, right? The DM on Discord?
Allegedly.
Wait, the fact that you asked that makes me not want you to message her.
Well, she's
That
asking me
makes
to
me a little nervous.
She's asking me to DM her on Discord, so.
Yeah, she's married, young Kirk. And she's not going to make you try on her clothes. She's not going to do that. Okay. So don't get any weird ideas. We're promoting a safe space for women. This channel is known as a very pro-feminist space. So
Well, I'm not going to DM you now. You
way.
call me a loser because you're a loser, bitch.
Kirk didn't do the first person. He's trying to compete with Alex and Zherka for most sassy in the community.
Peeping Tom.
Peeping Tom. But,
That's in your type 5 now, Kirk. You have to acknowledge that. That's in your freaking type 5.
I said peeping Tom once and you didn't laugh, but then when other people say it's funny.
Yeah, kind of. But you still get credit. But it's one of those builders that becomes funny because it keeps getting said. So you still get credit, even if we didn't laugh the first time, you know? It's one of those thinkers. You have to think about it. You said it in chat just like 2 hours ago, and I was like laughing for like 30 seconds, trying not to laugh. So, I mean, it has legs, Kirk. The joke has legs. I gotta give it to you.
Kirk, you have to use your timing. You have great comedic timing. You just don't always do comedy. If you did more comedy, I think you'd be great because you have that timing down.
That's true. Kirk is learning. He's come out with some funny things at funny moments. So, you know.
Have you heard of the Asian woman named Suck Me Dong?
See, that was both not good timing and not a funny joke. It doesn't have the same. I mean, maybe if it now watch, I'm gonna say it that it's not funny, and then maybe someone's gonna say it a million times. But I don't know. You can't. It's lightning in a bottle is hard to capture. You know,
Kirk, you've built up this reputation to ask questions that are normally philosophical and like deep but random. So I think if you mix in your humor with like that, where people aren't expecting it, that you get a lot of laughs.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
If you come on panel and you go, hey, Confluence, and then you ask them about some philosophical term, but sneak a joke in there, you probably get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've set the groundwork to, if you add humor onto the character known as Kirk, it could really work. Okay. And yeah, we actually did. I mean, yeah, we're like nowhere really close to finishing this. Also, actually, wait, no, I'm giving myself way too much credit. This is Zherka's stream, so he didn't even start the debate. Actually, I'm giving myself way too much credit. Yeah, holy, never mind. The debate starts at like 2:55. So I guess we've only, through 2 streams, we made it, I guess, not even an hour. So, okay, never mind. That's fine, though. We made it a little bit.
Better than what we usually do.
Yeah, sometimes we don't even start the video, if you think about it. And I was so happy when Avery said that. I was like, oh, man, we did. We're at like 3.5 hours. And I was like, wait a minute. No, never mind. So, but, you know, progress, okay? It's no shoe on head video where we fucking kill those, you know, in a one and done, which is almost impossible to do. And actually, we didn't do that with the second shoe on head video, but we did it with the first one, at least, of the recent ones. But anyway, Confluence has got to have a heart out. So yeah, I will see you guys, those who are here. And Curl, Rage Page says, for real, Kirk, send me a DM. Yeah, you guys can talk. She's got a question, okay? She's got a question. Are we rating anyone? I guess we could see if anyone is online. I've forgotten to raid people for the past little bit. Let me see. Who do I like? Who do I like? Let's go to Cool Vic. I like Cool Vic. I mean, he already has more than enough viewers, but hey, 9 more. It's 9 more. Go to Cool Vic, drop a like, drop a subscribe, etc. Cool Vic's a cool guy. It's in the name if you think about it. 07's guys. Tomorrow is racism trivia. Rage Page, send me the questions as early as you can so I can look them over. I mean,
which Rage Page is she on Discord?
Oh yeah, she's both of them. I don't know what her main is. I don't know if she checks both of them or not. I'm honestly not sure. So just message both of them. They're both her. She just has like 2 Discord accounts, and I don't know which one is the most current one. But yeah.
Adios.
So I'll let you guys figure that out. Take care, guys. God bless. Thank you for being here. Thank you, chat. And thank you to Sticker Johnson. Thank you, Testy. Thank you, Testy again. And thank you, Big Soda. And thank you, Avery, for becoming a gold member based. 07's. Peace out, guys.